This episode of Your Mom's House is brought to you by Sattva Luxury Mattress, the only online mattress company that provides free delivery, setup, and mattress removal.
Welcome to Your Mom's House with Tom Segura, and
Christina Pajitsin.
welcome to Your Mom's House.
Hello, mommies. It's me, the water champ, the personality champ, the holding it down champ, as my sweet love, Tom, is out on the road. Currently, I think he's in Judd Apatow right now, and he has been working so hard this month, and he's got some dates I'm going to read now. Okay, Charlotte, North Carolina on the 13th of November, and then the 14th, he's in Pensacola, and then the 15th, Lake Charles, Louisiana. Austin, sold out, forget it. The 29th, the day after Thanksgiving, around there in Melbourne, Florida. And then the 30th, Miami. And then December 5th, Erie, Pennsylvania. The 6th, oh, that's sold out, forget that one. Okay, Columbus on the 6th of December. Let's go up. And Windsor, Ontario, December 8th, my birthplace. And that's it, the end of the year on the 28th of December in Honolulu, Hawaii. And on the 29th, Kaluhalihalahalahi. I don't know how to say it. Kahului, Hawaii. I'm sorry. I know your home is more beautiful than anything I can ever imagine. And then 2020, there's a million dates. Let's not even go there. He's doing a residency in Vegas. He is just everywhere, and I love him so much, and I miss him, and I know you guys do too. But we've got a killer episode for you, which I'll get into. Okay, and then my dates. Through the end of the year, I'm at Flappers in Burbank in the Yoo-Hoo Room. I'm doing my residency every Thursday. Tickets go really fast. It's just intimate, 50 or so people. Seattle, Portland, almost completely gone. And then Burbank. And then 2020, I've got dates in Houston, January 30th. February 14th, that's Valentine's Day in Tampa at the Tampa Improv. March 13th through 14th, Miami Improv. March 26th through 28th, Dallas at the Addison Improv. April 3rd and 4th, Judd Apatow. Caroline's Comedy Club, April 24th and 25th, Des Moines, Iowa at the Funny Bone. And then June 12th and 13th, Phoenix, Arizona at Stand Up Live. Tickets at Christina P. online. There you go. So much. We have so much for you in this episode. So excited. We have Judd Apatow coming in and Wayne Federman, his buddy, as well. And we had so much fun talking to him. You guys all know him. He's a very famous director, stand-up comedian. I mean, what hasn't he done? He's kind of amazing. So enjoy this episode, and I'll see you soon. Bye, Mommy.
All right, we're here. This is called a set. I don't know if you've ever been on a set before.
Well, part
lights,
of it is real and part of it is like
cameras.
not finished.
Yeah, well, that's the whole vibe we're going for.
Yeah.
We want it to be real and not finished.
People won't see that side.
They'll never see it. Wow. They'll never see it.
Cool.
You just revealed the biggest secret we have.
It's like the Wizard of Oz when you see the set and you're like, oh.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if you like our colors, but we are sponsored by Morton Steakhouse.
Yeah.
Nice.
And
Yes.
they
And I
give us
can get you.
$2,000.
I can get you like a discount on an appetizer if you
Oh,
want,
excellent.
but only at certain locations.
I
just
thought it was
letting
like
you know.
more of a Ruth Chris feel. But
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
It's Judd Apatow and Wayne Federman are joining us today. You've always got a dozen or so projects going on.
Yes.
You just got back from New York. You
That's
were
true.
directing the new Pete Davidson.
I was directing a new Pete Davidson movie. Well, there isn't another one.
Right.
So
You were directing the Pete
the
Davidson.
Pete Davidson movie,
Yes.
Yeah.
which also stars Bill Burr.
Never heard of him?
Never heard
What
of
does
him.
What does he play in the movie?
He plays a whimsical fair. No, he plays a fireman who is dating Pete's mom.
Got you.
Oh.
So it's-
This is when Bill was rocking the mustache for a while.
yes, because he's a fireman, and a lot of the firemen wear mustaches. So Bill, for many months,
Had that.
had to wear a very specific kind of large mustache.
It seemed appropriate. I mean, he looked like it looked like it fit him. You know what I mean? Sometimes you see someone in a mustache, you're like, you really look like shit, man. You needed, but like his actually kind of
I never got to
vibe
see
with
it.
him.
I'm
Oh,
so
he posted
bummed.
up some like photos and stuff, and
Because I feel like if he weren't a comedian, he might be a firefighter.
he might be.
Like
Yeah.
a
Yes, he fit
policeman.
in. The
Yeah.
firemen just took to him.
Yeah.
They loved him.
I believe
because we
that.
had a lot of the firemen in the movie are currently firemen.
Oh, wow.
Some of them
really?
also act, and they love Bill.
Look at him.
It looks ridiculous.
Yeah, that's the real deal.
Yeah,
And
it
he's
does
clean
look good.
shaven, which I think is also part of the effect.
He looks like such a fucking psycho. It's
He
great.
does.
He really does.
He's not the guy you want dating your mom. That's the premise of the film. What if Bill Burr in this character dated my mom?
And Pete, this is this is like Pete is playing a version of himself, right, in the film?
Pete is, I guess, playing a version of Pete if he never found comedy.
Got you.
And he was just sleeping in his, his same old room, and he never moved out of his
Right.
mother's house.
And
Gotcha.
Pete, by the way, I feel like Pete, I've known Pete for a while now. I feel like he's still, I don't know, 19. Like he doesn't age for some reason. Like it's like been 6 years. And I'm like, are you still 20? Like how old is he now?
I think he's 25 or 26.
See, that just, I don't know. You just changed
crazy.
that for me. Every time I see him, I'm like, are you still in high school or something, man?
Because when we were working on Trainwreck, before we shot, Amy Schumer was like, you have to meet this kid. It's so weird that he's 19 years old.
Yeah.
And is so funny.
Yeah, it is.
And, we threw him a line or two in the movie. And for me, sometimes I think, it'd be fun to put Pete in the movie for a line or two, because if he does become a gigantic world famous comedian, I look so cool for having noticed.
Yes.
As like
Yeah.
Richard Dreyfuss in The Graduate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we started, kicking around the idea of what would a Pete movie look like.
That's cool, man.
And now, 5 years later, here we are.
Yeah, no, I think I saw him 5 years. I did Oddball like 5 years ago, that big amphitheater tour, and he did a few dates, and he was like, I guess 20. I was like, this guy's 20, and he destroyed. I was like, oh, okay. I guess some people are good when they're 20.
I know it's very rare the 20-year-old who actually can do it. There
Yeah.
was Bob Goldthwait, Eddie Murphy as an
Murphy.
18, 19-year-old
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
murdering.
And Bill Hicks, who started at like 13 or
Sure.
something. I mean, god damn it.
I think
It makes
Chappelle
me
was
so
pretty
upset.
good young too. also.
Chappelle started at
Absolutely.
14.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's got chops.
But just a handful of them
I know.
who know who they are
Yeah,
very young. Like I
Yeah.
remember seeing Michael Che, and I think instantly
yeah.
he knew who he was.
Yeah.
And was hysterical very fast from the moment like he started.
That's
to-
true. You know what he had really young too? It's very rare in stand up. Is he's like was a young guy who didn't care if people didn't like him, which is like you find that like it takes a long time to go. It's not that you're trying to be provocative, but if you go like this is my point of view, these are my jokes,
Yeah.
and if you don't like it, like I don't care. Most when you're 20, you're like, please just
my
like
gosh.
me,
Yeah.
And
Oh man, I would be in the bathroom at Governor's on Long Island before every set, just sick.
Yeah.
I was I also was terrible. So I knew it was going to go bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, this might go
Yeah.
well. No, this is going to go very badly. I'm just going to walk into a buzzsaw right now.
I'm always fascinated by your relationship with stand-up in that basically every comedian, their thing is like, how can I get out of stand-up and like do what Judd does? Like that's everyone. They're just like, I just got to stop doing this fucking bullshit. And then you have reached the like penultimate levels of success in Hollywood, and you're like, gotta get a spot in tonight.
I'm the guy breaking back into prison.
Yeah.
It's really fascinating. You know?
Well, I think that, obviously stand-up has been the thing I loved more than anything since I was a kid.
Yeah.
I just was drawn away from it just by other work.
Yeah.
And also, by the fact that, when I started, I really wasn't that good at it. I did okay, but people were amazing
No,
in
but
that
you
era.
you're playing it down though. I mean, like you had success. You were on the HBO Young Comedian special.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing gigs.
I did some Dennis Miller's.
Yeah,
I
you're-
got to admit it.
Yeah, you were working comic, man.
Yeah.
But like, do you remember the first time? Because like I think it is really interesting that you are, you're working as a comic, and then I guess you probably have a writing job, and then you realize I'm getting further away from stand up and leaning more towards this.
Well, I would write for other comedians because I noticed something very early, which is no one wanted to write for other comedians. So there were tons of comedians. They all needed jokes, I needed money, and the people I was friends with, like Sandler and Spade, they weren't going to write a joke for someone else. Like, I mean, the idea
Of course.
that Adam Sandler would sit with his pen and pad and take some money to write a joke, you know, for someone else. I mean, it was ridiculous. But I was like, this is the best thing ever. I can make so much money.
You loved it.
Doing it. And I liked hanging around with the comedians. So I would, you know, spend time with George Wallace or Taylor Negron and, you know, make a few $100s kicking things around. I couldn't believe you could get paid for that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go hang out with Taylor Negron and kick around jokes, and he's going to write me a check.
So you guys would riff stuff together, and then like here's a check.
Yeah, and sometimes, you know, George Wallace is like, Judd, I only do 2 kinds of jokes: stupid shit and things I don't understand. And sometimes, what if I were president? And I wrote him a bunch of jokes. Me and my friend Joel Madison wrote some jokes for Jeff Dunham's new old man puppet. And so that was the beginning of just paying my rent.
Right.
And then it just turned into writing for Tom Arnold, which led to writing for Roseanne. And then
The
suddenly
TV show, the series, or her stand-up?
could never get on the show, so I would write her act with her.
What? I did not know that.
So I'd go to her house on Sunday, and she'd be like in her bathrobe, and we'd sit at her kitchen table and write jokes.
Yeah.
But I'm like 21 years old, writing
Really?
like stretch marks jokes with Roseanne.
That's
Wait, did you want to write on her show? Was that a thing?
yeah.
So that was
Yeah.
disappointing. You couldn't get on it?
I never got on anyone's show. Like I would write sketches for In Living Color with Jim Carrey.
What?
And then he would get me the meeting to meet with Keenan to be on staff because he'd pay me out of his own pocket. And I just wouldn't get the gig. Sandler got SNL. I'm like,
What?
I'm going to write for SNL. And then I would never get the gig.
What do you think it is?
I don't know. And then I met,
I'm going to say
Yeah,
personality.
what sucks?
You know?
I may be bad in a meeting.
Yeah.
And then I met Ben Stiller, and we came up with the Ben Stiller show. But I had been rejected by every show on television in every capacity. And then just because people wanted Ben to do a show, and Ben wasn't smart enough to know that I hadn't done a show, suddenly I'm like running his show with zero experience. Like I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just like watching Ben.
And people didn't really notice that you're inexperienced right away, right? Like they don't
I
put it
assume Bob
together.
Odenkirk noticed. He was the best sketch writer in the world.
Yeah.
But you know, I had done some HBO specials with people. I hadn't run an ongoing concern, and then I just didn't have time to do stand up because the Ben Stiller show was just all.
But it must be
consuming.
immensely satisfying that you had like all these meetings that they're like, no thanks, and now you can just call a meeting and just be, you know, do whatever you want.
Yes, because I knew what I did is I wrote an episode of The Simpsons.
Yeah.
And I wrote an episode of Get a Life, and that was my samples. So they didn't ask for it. That's how you would try to get a job on staff. And so it was the first season of The Simpsons, and all right, this show seems like it might work. And I wrote an episode, and I didn't get anything. I got one meeting. So say there's 50 shows on TV.
Yeah.
I got one meeting out of those 50 shows and was rejected by that show. Get a Life.
I love that show.
And I only got that meeting, I think, because Shandling made them meet with me.
Really?
And then we did the Ben Stiller show. Then when that ended, Gary was doing Larry Sanders, and he said, do you want to jump on here? And then I did a show called The Critic, which was some of the Simpsons guys. Reese and Gene created a show with John Lovitz.
Oh, right.
As a critic.
The Critic, that's right. And then so many comics would guest on that show. That was how that,
Yes.
right? Yeah, I remember that.
And and then I'm like, I guess the world wants me to write because I'm getting paid all this money to write.
Yeah.
Or I could middle in Tempe for the Improv.
Yeah, which also pays great.
Yeah.
Still pays the same.
It
as
pays
did
the
in the
same
90s,
as when
right?
you
It's
were doing
exactly the
maybe.
same
Yeah.
money.
Same
weirdly.
health benefits?
Yeah, it's
but
really cool.
I imagine
Still no travel. Still no hotel.
No
Still,
hotel.
yeah.
I imagine it's harder to go back to stand up having had all the success you've had than starting anew. You know what I mean? Like did you keep doing stand up as you were writing for other people, or had you kind of
I
dropped
stopped.
off?
I just totally stopped.
So that's got to be terrifying because now you've lost the muscle.
Sure. But I always wanted to do it. So when I would have movies come out, I would go on Leno and Conan, and that was my stand-up would be to try to write decent
Jokes
panel
for the-
everywhere.
yeah.
And occasionally I would, host something, but I wasn't doing it. And then when we did Trainwreck, Amy was doing tons of stand-up, and honestly, I just got jealous. I just thought, she sounds like she's having so much fun.
Yeah.
And every time she would come back
I
from the
can see
road,
that.
she's like, now I'm playing 2,000 seaters. And then 3 months later, we'd be working on, on the movie. And she's like, I'm playing 4,000 seaters.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this sounds like a great fun thing to do. So we were in New York and she would play the seller. And I said, I'm going to go up one night just to make you laugh because it won't go well. Right. But just as a joke for Amy, I'm going to go throw something together to make you laugh. And I didn't know that Esty, the booker, was watching and the club was watching. I was only doing it
For Amy.
hoping it would go badly. And I just told some old story and it went well. And then the Comedy Cellar's like, hey, if you want to come in and do spots, you can. And then I was like, wait,
hooked.
No one's ever said that to me in my whole life.
Right.
I mean, how many years I begged Bud Freeman to give me a spot.
Yeah.
No one's ever made it easy.
Yeah.
And so I just took advantage of it.
And what's your approach now? Because you're so known, like those first few spots going back, what's your angle? Because here's a guy that has everything. Like, you can't be like, I'm just a schlubby guy. Like, you're not.
I just
Trying to get laid.
Yeah, well, I'm a fucking loser. Like, you're not a loser, Like,
yeah, it's
Is that how you view every
Wait,
comedy?
let me tell you how much not a loser Judd is.
Right.
When we were in Montreal like a year ago, a bunch of us were in the green room like comparing watches. We're like, check out this watch and check out this watch. We're like, what about you, Judd? He's like, I did the watch thing a while ago. Kind of over that now, guys. We were like, all right. And then everyone's like, yeah, Judd's probably
he's over the watch.
yeah,
thing.
he's like, you guys just got money. That's cool. So
that was a funny green room moment. There was a lot of amazing comedians in one spot in Montreal. I have a photo of it, I think.
Oh, really? Yeah, because like Russell was there.
Yeah.
And, I forget who else was in the room, but I don't know.
I generally just try to think of it as I'm just being honest about what my world is, which is marriage, kids, and I'm happy to tell weird show business stories. I just try to go, well, this is what it is.
Yeah.
And if you've seen any of the movies or anything and you're interested, I might tell you a story. There's definitely like name droppy stories. Like people will give me shit because like I was telling the story about meeting Beyonce, but it was like a funny story where things went wrong. And I'm like, well, I can tell that story because I take the brunt of it because it goes so terribly wrong.
Yeah.
But every time I do it, someone's just like, oh, Judd with his meeting Beyonce story.
Well,
because your reality is different than
Beyonce
the
every day.
average. Yeah.
Every day.
Every day.
Back to the house. There's Beyonce.
No, I love a good showbiz story. Now you have to be careful when you're in Hollywood. You can't bad mouth people, right? Because it's like it's part of your environment. But how comfortable do you feel saying that Steven Seagal's a piece of shit? Are you down with that or not?
Well, he's a lethal weapon. His hands are lethal weapons. So it's really about my personal fear of the violent confrontation.
There's a lot of garbage stories about him.
And I was I auditioned for him once, and he made me do some things I'm not proud of. So I'm delicate about it.
Now, did you guys meet on the road years ago? Is that how? No?
Not at all.
How did you meet?
Wayne knows the story.
Well, according to Judd, no, this is what happened was when Judd was going to USC, and I believe it was one of his first days here. Is that right?
It literally could have been the day I moved to Los Angeles.
Really?
Yeah, from New York. And I was out on kind of a fact-finding tour. I had not moved, and we met outside the Laugh Factory.
1985, when the Laugh Factory was
You guys
the
met
size
in
of this room.
85?
Yeah, we met in 1985. He was a
Oh,
freshman.
they're wanting you to be closer to the mic. I can.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
So I met in 1985.
Wayne, you have a podcast. You should know these rules.
Now I know how to do that. And then we and Judd, believe it or not, this is insane, was like, I'm at USC. I think I'm booking a show there, and I'd like you to be on it. So it could have been your first day there.
No, that was later. I found it was a great way to embezzle money from USC.
Yeah.
Which is, I realized that I could book the comedy shows at USC, even though I wasn't really a comedian. I'd done it like 5 or 6 times, and there was so much money at the college. They're like, okay, what do you need?
Yeah.
You want $5,000 to do a night at
Crazy.
USC? I'm like, I'm going to pay myself $500.
Yeah.
So host a show, and so one show was Wayne and Kevin Nealon.
I love Kevin Nealon.
Pre-SNL, Kevin Nealon.
Pre-SNL.
So
and
funny.
It was the day the shuttle exploded.
January 28th,
No.
1986, right?
A hilarious day in our history.
Exactly. Now, I'm so young. I don't know that the appropriate thing to do is
Yeah.
cancel the show.
Yeah.
So I don't cancel the show because I'm so excited.
It's like Pearl Harbor of the 80s.
Yes.
There's an episode of Glow where this happens. Actually.
It's literally the saddest day in American history up until that point.
Yeah.
And so
Right, everyone's watching it on TV.
Yeah.
now
It's
we're
not
in
like
a
Pearl
prime.
Harbor where you would hear the news
Yeah,
and then later
true.
see the footage.
and people are watching it happen. Like
All
and, you know,
day.
and so Wayne shows up and he's like, I guess we're doing this. And it's a 1,200 seat theater, Bovard at USC. Nobody shows up. There's, I mean, maybe like 100 people showed up. And so Kevin Nealon arrives and he's like, hey, how's it going? In his Kevin mode. I'm like, hey man, I'm sorry about, the crowd size because what happened? And he's like, what happened?
No.
And I'm like, well, did you hear what happened with the shuttle? And he makes me explain
No.
the shuttle disaster to him, but he's just pulling my leg. He obviously
just-
knows, but I'm 18 years old.
so
I don't know
funny.
that he's just joking around with me. And I explained the shuttle disaster
And
to
he's
him.
like, oh, okay.
He's like, that's terrible.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
terrible.
Classic Nealon.
Yeah.
Nealon's so
definitely.
funny.
That's
joke,
it. So that's how we met and
Awesome.
remained friends ever since, I guess.
Wayne played Larry Sanders' brother on the Larry Sanders
Larry
show.
Sanders.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
And has been in a lot of the movies and things. And we're the last two standing from
Yeah.
1985
Wow, from the USC shuttle show.
from the shuttle
Yeah,
show.
Yeah, a lot of
Two
people
guys that made
famous.
it out.
Tommy Sledge was on that show.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember
No,
Tommy
no.
Sledge. He did his whole act in a 40s detective outfit
Oh.
and would speak like a Dashiell Hammett detective.
How come stand-up has never been bigger, right, than it is right
Correct.
now? It is so big right now.
Yeah.
It actually, I was saying, like, people are trying to get out, but the truth is, like, I think some people view it no longer as a stepping, like, as a goal job, right?
Eddie Murphy
But
wants in.
He wants
Yeah.
in. But you know what you don't really see as much anymore are the comics taking those, like, characters.
Yeah.
I don't see, you don't really see that
There's no
anymore.
Bruce Babyman Baum
Right.
breaking into the industry. And I always talk about this. I loved that there was, people breaking watermelons and
Yeah.
Tim Thomerson's act and Gallagher's act. There was a leftover from 60s and 70s
Yes.
variety.
The silliness too,
Yes.
and the drug culture. There was
Yeah.
Cheech and Chong, and
Yes,
people
yes.
seem to be okay with absurdity. And you also had TV shows like Mork and Mindy, which I don't think could exist now, right? Like
or would be the
space
biggest
alien-
hit ever.
right?
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
knows? Who
People
knows?
were down for silliness.
Yeah, I feel that's the right word too. It's like I don't know. I mean, you definitely can see some silliness on some shows, but I don't see people being that
Like
like
buying
silly
it
up there.
anymore.
Yeah, there's not enough guitar acts. Like people used to make fun of the guitar
Yeah.
acts.
Yeah.
But I used to always love all those people. Dennis Blair was this guy that had a great guitar act and opened up for Rodney on the road.
And Carlin.
Rode with him.
I
he
love-
opened up for Carlin.
Oh, wow.
Bobcat
Yeah, he was Carlin's
Goldthwait.
opening
Remember
act,
Bobcat?
yeah.
That was so. He's still very funny. But
He's so funny.
But
But
that
back
character.
then, I mean, when you used to see Goldthwait in the late 80s, there was a comedy club called Igby's, which is now a strip
Yeah.
club on Pico. It was electric.
The club?
Bob
Nice.
Goldthwait's act.
Yeah.
Kinnison's act in person.
Yeah.
When the crowd did not know who Kinnison was. If you can imagine the whole crowd not knowing what's about to happen.
Yeah.
There was nothing more exciting than those people
Yeah.
who were making really strong creative choices.
Sure.
So yeah, I miss that too. Is anyone doing that? Have you encountered that on the road?
Not that I've seen really. Not really, no. There was those two guys, and one of them owned the act here in LA, these two Italian guys, and it was like you know what I'm talking about? They used to be at all the shows.
describe the act. I'm trying to
It was
remember.
like, hey, fucking this guy.
Yeah, yeah,
and then
yeah,
his
yeah.
brother,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And he would sub out, like he would
Oh,
do
right.
the act for 5 years with one guy, and then this guy was like, I'm moving on. He's like, all right, you can't do the act anymore. And he would bring in like another guy to play off of. And they were like a two-man. I used to see them for a decade at all these random, like bar shows and shit.
Like Gallagher 2.
Yeah, like Gallagher
Yeah.
too kind of shit.
I love
yeah.
the conflict between Gallagher and
Yes.
Gallagher 2.
I know.
Because Gallagher 2 was only allowed to play smaller markets. And he was
Fascinating.
doing well. And then suddenly he went into one of the bigger markets and Gallagher shut him down, and then suddenly there was war between the Gallaghers.
Yeah.
And there was like a fruit shortage. It was crazy. Man. It was a wild time. Now, our show has always got a lot of stuff for playing clips.
Yes.
And one of the things we wanted to do was show you a Hollywood producer and director, some of the talent that is passing through.
Great.
And also, I have their contact info. I have yours. I can set something up for you.
You give them my email if you want.
Yeah.
And also, a lot of this talent we've sort of developed, and they've got a following now because of our show.
Yeah.
So just, they have a social media presence
you have
as well.
there, so you guys can
I love this
Built-in
setup, by the way.
audience.
This setup is beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks.
Want to make sure you're all set. Make sure those levels
Get
are right
comfortable.
for you. You can adjust, your volume's good. All right. I guess we'll start with this guy. I'll let him take it from here.
If you've had any kind of erectile disorder problems, I'm here to tell you, forget about Viagra, forget about salads, forget about dick and plants and all that stuff. So I don't know if you believe me or not, but if you like to see me smoke some meth with a small limp dick that doesn't get hard any other way, and watch it get harder and harder, the more I smoke, the harder my dick gets. It's unbelievable.
So basically, there's a lot of stuff going on. It's tackling the erectile dysfunction that is a very common problem. I think it happens in 40 or 50% of men over a certain age.
Half of this couch has an issue.
And,
ED.
these pills you get hooked on the pharma. This guy's saying, smoke some meth right there.
The pharmaceutical industry is out of control.
Totally.
And he's found his own way to deal with it. It's like the CDB oil,
Right.
except meth.
Except meth.
Right,
and
it's
it works.
medicinal. Meth, there's some positive sides, and this guy's going to show you.
Some
But
people react to things differently than other people.
But I think we all know that there is great long-term benefits to meth, right?
Right.
We've seen that. So I didn't know about this short-term.
Yes.
Right.
This is interesting.
There's
Very
holes in your face, gaps in
Right.
your mouth.
He looks good for someone that
Sure.
uses a lot of meth.
That is an excellent point.
And let me say something that maybe you don't intend. I like him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy's charismatic.
He is.
Wow. Wait a minute. Are you
So what do
saying
you see?
feel
What,
something?
Judd, what do
Yeah.
you see? What do you see when you see? Because you have the eye of a director.
You have the eye.
I like the look. I like the voice. There's clearly a vibrant personality there.
What about the production value?
And I'm not joking at all right now.
No, I believe you.
If I could follow that guy for an hour and a half right now, I would definitely do it.
Yeah. Well, he had his
Stay
doubters.
tuned, yeah.
He had his doubters about his meth, and he tells you in a very
Yes.
charismatic way.
Your dickhead becomes so sensitive that you don't need lube, you don't need spit. You just stroke that dickhead this up and
a
down
little
4
graphic.
times. Just
Yeah.
barely do it. My brother didn't believe me. But when he smoked with me, he put out his dick. I couldn't believe how big his dick was. He jacked off in 4 strokes and shot the most cum he'd ever shot in his life. He's on.
I mean, so his brother was a doubter.
His brother.
Well, here's the thing. He's a storyteller. He's definitely a storyteller.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and I've cast guys who've worked so hard
Yeah.
to get to that.
Right.
Really?
As actors,
Right. Yeah.
who are trying to capture that.
Yeah.
Right,
So why not go to the source?
You know what
Because
I
it's so natural. He has such a natural.
He's a character.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if we got to know him,
Yeah.
say that he had a little come down from the meth,
Right.
right?
This guy would have some stories.
He would have some stories.
Yeah.
He might be an incredible guy who struggled and he's ready for his moment.
Wow.
I know this sounds weird, but sometimes I think every person in the world could carry their own movie and be fascinating.
That's really interesting.
Like that guy sobering up and whatever he's struggling with and whatever his family makes of him,
Yeah.
you'd watch that.
Yeah, that's true. I
Well,
would.
we're fascinated by him now.
I mean, I've been watching this clip for
Riveting.
about 6 years, so yeah.
You know what I like about him is that he's family is important.
Yeah.
His
Oh,
brother is
right.
important. That's we've lost that in society. We're now about the phone,
And a lot of
your social
Family
media,
values.
family values.
a lot of these products, they want
Yeah.
testimonials, they want doubters, and he brought his. He's like, my brother didn't believe me. He believes me now.
Yes.
So
He's concise in his language.
yeah.
Yes.
Now, do you feel like
Good communicator.
this is the same kind of thing?
Okay.
before you have sex, if you want to be horny for 2 or 3 hours like you've never been in your life, and you have access to marijuana too, good weed, listen to me.
Yeah.
What's your first?
My first thought is, he looks more like Rogan than I expected. That's like a cousin. That's like Seth's cousin. I'm also
Oh, I
wondering.
thought you meant Joe Rogan.
I'm also wondering what's in the balloon.
Yeah.
What is in the balloon?
It's not healthy.
Is it nitrous or something?
I think it's something like that. Yeah, he's got some upper respiratory things going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think he did. I just thought he was good at holding it to get a better hit out of it.
This is,
Where are you locating
Weed
these
alone
young
gets
people
you
from?
really hornier than normal, but
To you, like he sent
Take
this in
about
to you.
10
No.
Sent it to who?
Somebody found, like, a listener was like, "Here's a cool guy," and then they send in the.
all of our content is listener generated.
Yeah. It's not all like this. I just giving you,
Highlights.
It's a good look. The beard looks good.
Right.
But also the advice. He's got really sound advice because the last guy was like, you have erectile disorder, smoke meth. This guy is like, do you want to enhance your sex life? Smoke some weed, take a bunch of Benadryl. He has a whole formula going that's actually pretty adventurous.
Well, people do say weed makes it better for
Yeah.
some people.
Are you a weed smoker at all?
I'm not a big weed smoker because I just have panic attacks. Like
Yeah.
I don't have the response to it
Yeah.
that I wish that I did. And then every once in a while, I'll just test it to see, do I still have that response?
Yeah.
And then I just have a night from hell. I went to Seth Rogen's wedding, right? And so Seth gives out joints to everyone at the Friday dinner, right? And I guess it's very light, not powerful marijuana. Now, I don't really smoke marijuana, so I thought, okay, this is fun. I guess this is marijuana. This is like having a couple of beers.
Yeah.
So then the next night at the wedding, someone's smoking a joint, and I'm like, "What's that?" Like, "Oh yeah, it's Seth's pot," and I take one hit, and so now this is what Seth smokes.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Before you know it, I am running around the woods having a panic attack.
Yeah.
I am shitting and vomiting at the same time. I go back to the hotel. I watch 4 episodes of The Golden Girls to bring myself down.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's my general pot
So
experience.
shitting and vomiting, huh? What do you think? Was it a sativa, like a stimulant?
I'll never know. I mean, it might have. Who knows? It could have PCP in it. I don't know what the kids do
Yeah.
these days.
Seth goes hard. I mean, look, he's built up a tolerance, right? After all these years, for
Yes,
sure.
and I have zero
I do too.
tolerance.
And you,
A
Wayne?
weakling.
You're a consumer?
I'm a drug experimenter. I know that used to be like a joke, like that every user, like I experiment, but that's me. Like I'll try things, but I don't really use.
Yeah.
So, but I've tried a lot of different things.
You have.
You
Yeah.
tried meth?
Have not tried meth, but I haven't tried crack, but I've done cocaine and LSD
Okay.
and
What
marijuana.
what about 10
and
to
marijuana?
12?
I've actually done marijuana.
You've done marijuana?
Yeah, as well. So I know it's shocking.
What about Benadryl? Would you take 10
I don't
to 12?
even. Again, I've taken it for the sinus thing,
Yeah.
but what does it do?
Probably makes you sleepy.
Well,
10 to 12.
But isn't it a thing that you can't get Benadryl at some drugstores unless you show an ID? Or
Yeah,
so it's the same.
Sure.
But he can help you with that. That's what he's saying. That's what his pitch is that.
I'm just mesmerized. I
And-
just feel like he's looking through me.
He also
know.
he has it so broken down, like
True weed alone can get you really hornier than normal, but Benadryl, take about 10, 12 Benadryl
That's a
before you
lot.
want to have your
lot.
sexual fun with your partner or whatever you do or masturbate. All right?
so he guides you, through these.
Sexual
about
fun.
An hour later, when you feel it just kicking in, smoke your weed then. And then go ahead and get horny. And I promise you, it'll be millions and times more. You'll be so blissfully horny that you will not want to come.
Now I
Trust
ran
me.
this by Dr. Drew. He
Yep.
came and watched,
Okay.
and he says it's a bad idea.
Yeah, it seems like a bad idea.
To not come?
He says you
And what part of the advice?
he just said that you probably he decisively said don't take 10 to 12 Benadryl.
Yeah. Then you could die.
He said it's problematic.
My guess is that if you had sex with him, it would last too long.
This guy?
Yeah, at some point you'd be like, this is lasting too long.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
We have a guy
annoying.
on staff here who has that it's called delayed ejaculation.
Yes.
And he can't finish. Like he can't finish with a
With the
a
lady.
partner. Yeah.
With the lady?
Well, or like, he's not gay, but he just can't finish.
He can't. He only can finish if it's self-stimulated.
Right.
Yeah.
But does he run out of gas?
No, he just like basically they're like he basically has that, he gets to go like, no woman can make me finish, and then they're like, I bet I can, and then like an hour later they're like, yeah, no, I'm pretty tapped out too, bro. Go ahead and finish.
I like the way her voice changed. By the, I can too. I'm tapped out.
Yeah.
I'd like to be in a body switching movie with him.
Yeah.
That's very different than my.
Do you think that has
never had his problem?
Do you think that has to do with pornography?
No. I think
it's a medical.
My
thing.
guess is that with him it's intimacy. It's hooking up with strangers, and that I think if he was like in something with someone that he was really there was more of a connection with, I bet you
then
he
could.
I think that,
but he doesn't want to.
Then he
get
could
close.
denigrate her by coming inside her.
Right.
Yeah, I got it.
Exactly. Yeah, he's a real animal. His name's Josh Potter. He's he's a really really funny comic, and he's a pig of a human being. Now, we have this segment. I haven't seen these. Well, there's classics, but there's new ones. This segment is like a reaction segment. It's called Horrible or Hilarious.
Okay.
And I just play a clip for you, and you either
I'm
that's
gonna
funny.
be. I'm gonna be horrible
Okay,
right now.
well,
all right. Let's go.
if
Let's
you
play.
I find it
Is this
horrible
funny?
or hilarious.
Yes. Okay.
Look how much you like that.
It's just
You're gonna murder me in my sleep.
okay. So you're either gonna laugh or
Yes.
be like, "That's really bad."
Okay.
All right. Here we go.
Here we go.
Wayne laughed.
I did laugh.
And I laughed. I never
did
laughed.
laugh.
I know you
wouldn't
never
be-
laughed. And Judd looked very serious.
I think when I watch these things, as soon as someone says they're not, in a wheelchair for life, then I can enjoy them. I want that information.
Right.
I want to know what the actual damage was.
Right.
So if he survived, hilarious.
Oh,
Yeah.
So this is
made me laugh.
actually
It did make
Made me
me
laugh
laugh. It
too.
did
What-
make me laugh.
what-
Because I've
you're
fallen down
saying-
the stairs this way,
Yeah, yeah.
pregnant one time, like newly pregnant. I
Because
was
you're
like-
trying to.
But I survived.
Oh,
and
okay.
I've fallen down the stairs many times.
But what Judd's saying is kind of the hook moment of this segment, which is you go like, "Is he all right?"
Right.
Or and also there's a thing where if you see something happen, but it's non-graphic. In other words, you don't see like a leg go like this.
Yeah.
You just see a fall, and you, it's easier to laugh than if you see like gore. If you see like an injury, you go like, "Oh shit!" Right? But if it's a scream and then a fall, you go like, "Oh." It kind of reminds me of like Jackass. Remember when it was airing? It's like these guys are hurting themselves, but they're not in the hospital.
There's nothing funnier than Jackass. I watched it with my kids a few years ago. I don't think we've ever enjoyed each other's company or an experience more than watching Jackass.
Yeah.
But that is where my brain always goes. And it would be funny to wonder if I never found out if he's okay, could I ever enjoy it?
Yeah, I could, but I understand the question.
And most importantly, is this a rumpus room? Is that what these are called?
I don't know.
This is a basement, yeah.
This is how America lives.
Oh, there's more to it.
Yeah, he's checking on him.
Okay.
Yeah,
He's getting up.
he's fine.
Yeah, he's all right.
Shake it off.
I know I'm getting older because I'm 51, and lately I have a fair amount of friends who are falling downstairs. Like in the last 6 months, I've had so many friends say, "Oh yeah, I just missed a step and I went down like 8 steps," and I'm like, "Is this like our age? Is everyone drinking?"
Yeah.
Have you had a big fall yet?
I haven't had a big fall, but I have one fall story, which is my daughter's like, "Do you want to come with me to my friend's house?" This dog had puppies, and so I go over there. It's not like a normal dog. It's like some gardener's mangy, scary-looking dog, and there's like 3 or 4 puppies running around it. And I lean over, and the mangy dog's like, and I back up. I sense this is one of those dogs will kill you for going near their puppies situations. But then a few moments later, there was a puppy on the other side of the dog, and I just leaned in to pet it or something. And this tiny dog, but a very angry dog, just leaped suddenly and bit my ankle.
Oh, shit.
And I fell over so hard, landed on my hand, and like really hurt like my thumb, and it tore like through my pants. But the embarrassing part for my daughter was the when you fall so hard that people go, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And you're laying there and you're like, "Oh, just give me a second.
Yeah.
Just give me a second."
It's so embarrassing.
And you have to, and so that was embarrassing. And then they put a SpongeBob SquarePants like ice pack on my thumb, and I'm like just whining like a little third grader. And I have this little tiny tear in my pants, and I'm like holding my thumb.
Ice pack.
But now I'm scared of dogs because it was a tiny dog. And
How
it went
small
hard.
was the dog?
It was like
Really? And it lunged for you.
It did lunge for me. And then the gardener shows up, and they're like, "Oh, the dog bit him." And the gardener goes, "Did Pumpkin bite you?" And I was like, "Pumpkin,
Pumpkin.
Pumpkin bit me."
And
What a
he's like,
weird
never bites
name.
me, man. Never bites me. dog.
Pumpkin.
Yeah.
Killer.
You must be a bad guy. Okay. All right, here we go. Here's another one.
Oh my life.
Is this?
I don't know. I haven't seen these.
Oh, great.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, she's hitting him.
He wants
It's a
something.
woman. He's like, get out of there. Oh, shit.
Oh!
Oh my God!
Oh!
Oh my God!
That leg is not working. That
They're
leg.
laughing. Your crew is laughing, and the guy who can't
You guys.
ejaculate is hilariously laughing.
Yeah, this is something new.
That was not funny for me.
Okay.
Well,
Here's the
The
weird part.
hitting the woman was funny. Yes,
Can I
but
say-
that
Can I say the weird part?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Hilarious.
And let's break it down. Why is it hilarious?
Yes.
Yeah.
It seems to have an abuse of a woman's setup.
Sure.
Or at the very
Right.
least, time to back off.
Right.
You know, I don't know if he's trying to get in the car, he's trying to get the
He's
phone.
definitely trying to get in.
Okay, so there's something there.
Yeah.
And then because I saw the broken leg, I feel like it'll heal. Like I instantly thought, this can heal, I can laugh.
I
Right.
never saw this reaction coming from you, but I got to tell you something. It makes me like you so much.
Oh, good.
Yeah. It's a revenge tale.
It is.
Yeah.
It
This
is
is
kind
like
of
a
revenge.
Tarantino
And also,
kind
haven't
of
you
thing.
always had? I've always had this thing where I've thought about, like, sometimes you see in videos somebody at an intersection, you know, like at a car, and I've always thought about, what do you do? Because I know there's people in the back, like, if somebody were coming at my car or doing
Right.
something, and my kids are in my car with me, I picture myself doing this.
I got to go.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
and
it's up to
using
you
your
to get
car
it.
I'm
as
not
a
going to be
weapon.
like,
yeah.
I hope
Yeah.
that you don't get hurt as you're trying to break into my car with my
Right.
kids in here.
Although we
you
don't know what happened. The woman
I have
driving
no
the car,
idea.
she
Yeah.
could have just like shot his mom.
Yeah, no, you're right.
We don't know what happened.
It was definitely, and I got to say, he's dealing with this injury rather well.
He's trying to run on it. He ran on it.
Yeah.
There was nothing to put pressure on, and then he took another step.
Yeah.
See, me
Right.
with Pumpkin, I stayed down.
Yep.
But he was like, I think I
We're
can
not-
make this leg work.
Look, we're not saying this is as bad as the pumpkin situation.
No,
Yeah.
clearly.
Yeah.
He's acting
Clearly.
like more of a man than I did with the Pumpkin
With-
situation.
wow.
Pumpkin.
He did try to run on that leg.
Yeah.
That is bold.
So I want to ask you though, because you know you've directed a bunch of movies and produced a bunch of stuff, and one of the things that always stands out to me is that, like, it is really rare to make something that actually holds up. You know, things like they kind of last for a minute. I don't know. Sometimes you're like, yeah, now it's dated. But like the feeling of like a timeless comedy, it's really like a special thing. You know, like I think about from growing up watching Always Coming to America, and 25 years later it's still on. You're like watching it again. I can't
Yeah.
believe it. It's like the 1000th time.
Ghostbusters.
The Ghostbusters. You know, some
Fast
of the
Times at Ridgemont
Yeah.
High.
Fast Times.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, like some of these things, they just a lot of Bill Murray stuff that just holds up so well. But now there's like some time between making 40-Year-Old Virgin,
Oh
and I'm
my
like, man,
gosh.
that really is like, it's all like the beginning of their now kind of superstar careers. You know, Carell and Seth and all them. Like Seth's playing whatever, like the 5th lead in it now. He's this big movie star and producer. Like, do you look back fondly on making that movie?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was so scared making it because you really feel like if this doesn't go well, there will not be a second movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
So your first movie is a very intense situation. I had just worked with Carell on Anchorman and was very confident that he was as funny as a human can get.
Yeah.
He was murdering so hard every day at Anchorman that all the other people in it would watch him just in disbelief because they would just say, all right, after Will says this line, say whatever you want. And then McKay would just go, say something else, say something else. And sometimes he would feed him a line, you know, I ate a candle or something like that. But Steve could do it without pitching him anything.
line, yeah.
And it was truly remarkable. So I knew he would be good. But the fact that there's chemistry and
With everybody.
that the story works, you know, I'm putting out this book about Gary Shandling that you can pre-order. It's Gary Shandling's book. But one thing I put in it was Gary's note on the script. So Gary...
So you write the script and you send it to him.
I send it to Gary. We do a table read. He said, Judd, the movie is about how the sex is better when you're in love. So all his friends are not in love and they have all these weird, creepy relationships. But he is in love. So when the movie ends and he has sex, you have to be very clear that the sex is better than all the friends' sex. And that was the big issue, is how do you show sex? Because it wasn't the kind of movie where we were really showing graphic sex. That's why he sings a song at the end. Because we were trying to figure out how to do Gary's note. And I do think that's why it holds up, that it's ultimately a movie about shame. Something got by him. He got more and more nervous because it got by him.
Yeah.
And he thinks he's a freak and that he's going to be found out as a freak. But he's not a freak, because a freak really is just like the kind of guy who can't come at the end of sex.
Right in there.
There you go.
Right in there.
See the road I took there? See the road? That's comedy writing, motherfuckers.
That's called skills right there.
Can I tell you, your wife is so fucking hilarious.
Yes.
I
And
agree.
It's so hard to play drunk and
Oh,
funny.
yeah,
It's really hard, but man, she's so funny in that movie.
You know what she did? She
God
went
damn
out
it.
with Seth. Seth, in addition to acting in it, was one of the producers and helping us rewrite it. And so she went out with her friends and Seth. Seth brought a video camera, and they went and got Leslie drunk at a club.
Yeah.
And videotaped Leslie just
That's smart.
having a party night. And then Leslie watched herself, like what she does.
Oh my gosh.
And she came back and she watched it, and she's like, all these years I thought I was being so cute, and it is not cute at all.
Yeah, it's obnoxious, right? Anybody drunk is basically obnoxious.
Because she does that so well. Like, those girls who are in their cute little cars and they're like, ba, 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 and she's doing that thing.
It's
and
so
like,
funny.
Oh, that's every girl in college.
I read the same thing when Cage won Oscar, right, for Leaving Las Vegas.
Yes.
And that
Amazing
he got like blackout drunk in a hotel room.
Oh my
And
God.
set up a camera on a tripod and just watched himself get that drunk.
That sounds horrible.
Because he plays like a severe abusive alcoholic in that movie. Yeah, and he said it was
How am I drunk? Am I like
You're
Leslie?
a fucking nightmare. No, it's
I think I'm pretty cute.
I gotta tell you, you really don't drink that much.
I feel like I get hammered because I have like 2 glasses of Sauvignon
that's
Blanc.
exactly
and
right.
I am ripped.
Yeah, and then she's like, "Yeah, you know what? I think I will go lay down." That's you.
All right, because I'm hammered. Like I'm hammered when I'm.
Now I'm usually like quiet around people, and then I'm the type of person that when I drink, I start talking to people, and then I get self-conscious of myself that I'm like, oh, I'm bothering everyone, because I'll start being like, you're a really cool guy, man. Like, I'm that guy. I'm super nice. I'm a nice guy.
You are nice, drunk.
Spiral out after
Really?
drinking and talking. I have a real issue lately, and I don't know how to deal with it, which is I just have conversational shame. So I'll just go home, whether I'm like drunk or not drunk. I'll just start running every stupid thing I said.
Me too. It's the worst.
And just go. And some nights I'll make a point of not even talking much, just to see if when I get home I still have that feeling.
The shame.
Yeah.
Like, Judd, just shut up. No one cares about all your dumb things you say.
Yeah.
And it's really a rough one. I mean, and then there are some where you did make the mistake.
Yeah.
And I have some of those where at 2 a.m. I'll just be like, oh, what did you say that night? And like, and I'll never forget like just a faux pas.
And you just start flogging yourself. I do it. What's worse, I feel like, is text shame, because there's like the written proof of it. There's no like tone.
Yeah.
So especially if you're texting with someone it's not in your regular rotation, and then you're like, oh, and then you go like, how did they read that? And they don't respond right away, and you're like, oh, did I say it? Did I type it wrong? Then if you're trying to be sarcastic or something in a text, it's just, I don't know.
What's the one you think of, like when you think of your worst text mistake where you did screw up? Is there one
I don't give a fuck about texting, because I feel like there's a lot of forgiveness, because you're like, it's such a quick medium, and you can correct it. Oh, I misspelled.
I'll tell you a recent one. My manager was like, I had these big LA shows, and he was like, you should really invite, like, you should start like inviting everybody It's like, it's just good. I'm like, okay. And it's not, it's not something I would do. So I just felt embarrassed texting people I don't like communicate with. Like, do you want to come to my show? It felt so, I don't know. I felt like a dork. And then when they don't write back, I was like, I'm sorry I invited you. Like, I don't know what I'm doing.
And then know how many people really want to see you.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Which is the worst.
It was embarrassing. That was embarrassing to me.
I noticed that with premieres. So
yeah,
I direct a movie and I would find out which friends will show up.
Yeah.
And then you have 4 or 5 premieres like, wow, that guy never comes.
Yeah.
He really does not want to come show support.
Do they not want to come to your premieres though? That feels like...
I now don't go to anyone's anything.
Yeah, because it's kind of like...
I just decided there were things that I used to think were important and now I'm on their side.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to go to the premiere, see you, shake your hand. You're going to go talk to 1,000 people. And why am I here?
It's a time waster, man.
I've also stopped giving birthday presents. I went a couple of years where I really tracked everyone's birthday. And I thought, I'm going to be the guy that sends you a bottle of wine. And I'm going to be thoughtful guy. And then my birthday happened for a year or two, and no one reciprocated. Not one person that I sent something to reciprocated. So I said, from now on, no birthday.
I know it's like a bit basically, but I am totally in on, hey man, we're not doing birthday and Christmas gifts like over 11, right? Like, I mean, even my sister was like, my sister is coming out for Christmas with her kids, and she's like, so for Christmas, like, we're just not gonna do us, right? I'm like, I haven't given you anything in a decade. Like, of course,
you're an adult.
Like,
just
let's
buy
just let it be for the little ones, and like,
kids.
You know, if there's something you want, how you
Just
can go buy it,
adult.
just go buy it.
You know what? Years ago, I don't know if someone sent it to me and gave me the idea, but I realized that you can go online and send somebody Omaha steaks.
Yeah, that's a great gift.
Like weird food, like good food,
Potatoes
but it comes
loaded.
frozen and salmon, some
I
frozen
like it.
salmon.
Yep.
Let me put you up on game, dog.
Yep.
Snake River Farms.
Yeah.
I
think I've heard of that place. That's like a steak place, right?
That's the steak joint. That's where you want to get
What is it called?
Snake River Farms in Idaho.
Stupid name.
Are they a sponsor or about to be a sponsor?
No, I swear.
They're no Mortons.
Oh my God. And you can send people snakes?
No. They have.
That would be amazing. Frozen ones.
Frozen snakes?
When you go to a steakhouse and it says, like Wagyu, this and that, they a lot of times get it from them. So as a gift, you're sending somebody
Scary
primo gifts.
And it's easy. It's all online. Gift
Yeah.
cards.
There.
All about the gift card, too.
Yep. Can I tell you?
go.
Here's what I get ashamed about because I just thought about it. I don't like expressing too many feelings in public. Like I did this thing I did This American Life for NPR like a week ago because my mom was mentally ill and I had to cut her out of my life and it was horrible. And I started, and I wasn't expecting, at the beginning of the interview, I was like shooting off lines and I'm shucky ducking. And then the bitch, the interviewer knows how to get me. And I just started bawling. And I was like, this is going to be embarrassing.
Yeah.
When they edit this shit together and Ira Glass's voice. Nadav, you were there. I was mortified.
You were great. You did great.
Yeah, but I was
Do you
embarrassed.
think
'cause you were
Ira's going to be
here.
like, listen to this dumb bitch cry?
No, but it's going to
Act two. Act two.
Yeah, I'll be like, oh man, I don't want to. But
God, she's so lame. Listen to her, guys.
that's what I feel like.
I know, but
I
that's
get embarrassed
rough.
with maybe because I'm a comic and like that's the last thing
No,
I want is
it's
for people to see
I
me
know.
having real feelings.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I had an
God.
experience where I was being interviewed by Anderson Cooper.
Oh shit,
And so
the bald eagle.
it's like a 60 minutes piece. It's like the height of everything that would make your family happy. And I watched Hugh Jackman on the show the Sunday before the interview, and he's bawling like a little girl. And it's it's beautiful that when people can do that. I'm as a watcher, I love it, and I think it's good.
As a watcher,
As a watcher, like I love when people are willing to share that. So I wouldn't feel bad about it, but it made me very self-conscious having just watched Hugh Jackman cry. Like, this is what Anderson wants from me.
Yes.
And I just got resistant. Like, I'm not giving you this.
Yeah.
And the piece wasn't as good because I'm just like weird nerdy Judd. Like you didn't
cry.
I didn't open up in a way that made it significant in any way. So I say bravo to you.
Okay.
For your
Thanks.
blubbering.
Well, have you ever cried?
Well, those are the
in
ones
an
that
interview?
stand out, though, right? Because like when
don't
somebody
even.
has an emotional react in an interview, as the viewer, you end up connecting more, and you end up going
But
like, "Oh my!" It
that's
stays
true.
with you.
Right,
It stays
right.
with you. you
Sure.
know?
I did an interview for the New York Times. I let someone follow the entire shoot of Knocked Up. And so, when you're young, you don't know not to do that. So there's a guy literally on the set, like half the days we're shooting, and he wrote this long article about it. And it ends with me tearing up in the article.
Oh, shit.
And I showed the article to my wife, and there was a lot of like emotional things. It came across much darker than I thought I was behaving during the shoot. And I think it was because the guy was projecting some of his stuff onto me, honestly.
Yes.
The writer. And I showed it to my wife, and she started crying after she read it. And I thought she was going to be mad at me because I said something bad about the family. And she said, "It's all true. He totally captured you."
Oh, damn.
That's great, though.
Oh, I'm glad it exists. But that's probably the last time I was willing to. It was the last day, the last interview, and I just started welling up in front of the guy. And I didn't see it coming. That's the thing when you don't see it coming.
Well, print is sneaky, too.
Yeah.
It reads differently than hearing the person's voice and stuff.
Yes.
Everything looks shitty printed, I feel like. You can't give a good print interview.
Then Judd's eyes started welling up.
It's like, it's so dramatic.
Yeah.
It's so gross. You know what I thought was adorable is when your wife and your kids went to England for the royal wedding.
They did.
I saw that on social media, and I really liked
what's super
that.
embarrassing is how clearly I remember that.
Yeah, it was really cute.
No, like watching it, like looking at it through the lens of like, what a nice family. I want to have a family like that.
Same,
like,
it was before we had kids, and I'm
yeah.
like,
I remember that too.
They're cute.
And then she's like posing with they're sitting on the street.
Yeah.
I remember it like I'm like, I want to have a family like that.
Yeah, me too.
But the only thing that makes you not want to have a family like that, that I refuse to go.
Right.
Dad's home grumpy. I'm not going to England to watch a dumb wedding.
Were you doing anything else?
I don't know. I mean, I knew it was a special time for them. They like going to England and the culture. And I think they just like got a hotel with a good view and mainly sat in a hotel watching like them drive by. But then for the last wedding, which I guess was Harry, we all stayed up all night.
You did.
And watched all of it. And it was like a Mystery Science Theater of the royal wedding.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad.
Yeah,
That's fun.
and we're in full support of Meghan Markle. I just want you guys to know, I'm on her side. I think people are not being cool.
Really? Why are they not cool right now?
They're tough on her. They're probably very racist over there.
Oh,
and she's an American. I doubt they're thrilled about.
Yeah, she's pretty tan. I don't know if you've picked up on it. So
but she was in Get Him to the Greek.
Yeah, she
Was
was.
she?
She was. I think
that
we cut her
movie.
out, but I went through all the dailies. I'm like, we must have some hilarious dailies of
I
her
love that
with
movie.
Russell Brand.
You know what I love when he goes, "I'll see you on the other side," and I say that to people all the time when I go on stage. I'll see you on the other side. Nobody.
What's what's her name? Is it what's Quincy Jones' daughter? Rashida.
Rashida.
Yeah,
She has
she's
that.
great.
It reminds me of the Mark where she was on a red carpet, and they're like, "Look at you. Where you been on vacation? You're all tan." You haven't seen that? It's like a red carpet. They're like, "Have you been vacationing?" And she's like, "I'm ethnic, right?" And that's how she.
Oh shit!
There's nothing better than when people make that kind of mistake and you just call them out.
Yeah.
Like, no, that's not why I have a big nose. I'm Jewish.
Well, the perfect like we were talking about like feeling. Imagine how mortified that lady feels that it's a video clip forever of her being like,
Oh, man.
"How were the Bahamas?"
Oh yeah, it's like when you're pregnant and people like make all sorts of terrible mistakes.
Yeah.
Or after you have a baby and people are like, "When are you due?" I'm like, I had it a month ago.
Dude, I had a guy at a grocery store be like, "Are you having twins? Damn!"
Oh yeah,
like,
people
"Fuck
are
you."
so awful.
Yeah, man.
I remember Shandling used to have a joke about that. That he said, "When are you due?" And she said, "I'm not pregnant." And he goes, "Oh, I know. You're glowing."
That's hilarious. Are you doing dates coming up? Are you doing any shows?
I'm not doing any shows right now because I'm editing Pete's movie. So I'm just, talking up the Gary Goldman special, which I produced for HBO.
Great Depression.
Very funny.
Which is an amazing
Gary.
special. I mean, he just wrote a hilarious hour about his depression.
I've
He's
mentioned
such a good guy.
a bunch that I'm actually a big fan of his Goldman writing tips. That it's on Twitter. If you don't know, you follow Gary Goldman, and he decided he's going to put out like a tip a day for a year. I think that was the thing, and he puts stuff out that even when you're like, yeah, I know. It's like when you read a book like The Four Agreements, and you're like, I know this, but when it's put in written form in a way that I can digest, you're like, oh, I should be doing that more.
Yeah, you look at his feed and you're like, wait a second, I'm supposed to write?
Yeah, exactly.
He's a fantastic joke writer.
Oh my God.
I love
so
Gary.
funny.
He has this line whenever there's somebody with their arms crossed in the audience.
What
He'd
does
be
he
like,
say?
"Sir, are you cold? Emotionally, I mean."
Now, so he, because he actually, we're talking about like an interviewing, opening up. He kind of, I think, really leaned into and embraced being more vulnerable as a comic,
More
and
honest with what he was feeling.
and being like, I suffer from depression, and talked. I mean, he writes about it in his feed. He's obviously just did a special that's all about it, right? I mean, it's like an hour about.
I mean,
it weaves in and out, but like
he has a great kids on milk cartons bit that is remarkably dark and funny. So he drifts in and out of it, but it's the container that holds the whole special.
Yeah.
It's also about how he felt as a young guy who was built like a football player, and everyone wanted him to play sports, and how just down deep he really didn't want to be that guy.
Right.
And how hard that was for
I
him.
think I saw, maybe it was in the trailer. Oh yeah, like he's sitting with his mom, and he's looking at, he's like, look at this thing I drew in the third grade.
The lonely tree.
Yeah,
or
the
something.
lonely tree, and he's like, what do you think that meant? And she's like, no. But like, I feel like that's indicative of all of our parents' generation of like, hey, you know how I used to tell you how lonely I was, and they're like, yeah, I thought that was how you felt. You're like, yeah, but you never did anything about it. Like,
there was no therapy. Like when I was a kid, my parents got divorced, and it was so ugly, and they never ever said like, how you doing with all this? They never sent me to anyone. They never even really checked in on me emotionally, like in a real way, like, are you okay? Like this thing must be really hard for you. It wasn't that. It was just, your dad's the devil.
Yeah.
It was all their pain.
Yeah.
My mom expressed all of her pain and everything she was mad about. And my dad thought he was being a good dad by not ever talking about any of it ever.
Yeah.
And I think now it's a little easier for kids because that talk might happen.
We're so
in some
much
form.
more educated as parents now to check in, right? Like to act like, are you okay? Like
Well,
that
I think
becomes a normal thing.
Back then, the school of thought was just don't bring it up, and there won't be a problem if you don't bring it into the kids' awareness. But you find that if you're just honest with children, they pretty much get it. Like I do this podcast where my mom's at for moms, and people write in like, what do I tell my children their private parts are called? Because I don't. Is it a dingus? I'm like, no, it's a penis. It's a vagina. Like
dingus.
we have hang-ups about stuff that they don't. Like they're fine with the reality of stuff, even like
Well, that your parents are
divorce or
flawed.
whatever.
No one talked about that it's okay for your parents to be flawed.
Yeah.
And if you understand their flaws, you might feel better about just your general interaction with them, as opposed to thinking, I guess they're perfect, but they're really awful in certain ways, so it must be me.
Right.
Because that's what a kid always thinks. Like,
Right.
I must be the reason why mom's not here.
Right.
Or you as opposed to your parent. Like, I think I found out why my parents got divorced like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like really what happened and what the dynamics were. Like my mom moved out. And so as a kid, I was always like, no one's mom moves out.
Right. It's usually the dad.
The
right?
dad always moves out. So I lived with my dad, and only like, before my mom died, she was like, I always thought I was going to move back in 2 days later. But she never said that to me till like the very end. But that would have made me feel better to know she wanted to get back in.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
because then you
just-
blame yourself as the kid. Did you think you were just a horrible kid?
I think on some level you think, why don't they take care of me better? Why don't they care enough about me to take care of me in the proper way?
Yeah.
But it was just an era where they didn't know how to do that. Like in the 70s, parents thought it was okay to scream at each other in front of their children.
Right.
I mean, now that's the one thing if we're going to fight, we're going to go somewhere else into the soundproof room.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
back then, they would just brawl.
Scream, yeah.
And you were like, on the other side of the wall, you'd hear every word they were screaming about. And it was crazy.
Yeah. And then do you feel like, because there's always a story with like comedians, did that relationship, was that a drive for you? You know what I mean? To succeed? The relationship with you?
I just didn't want chaos. I thought there's so much chaos. I think if I start trying to work really young, I can build a stable life where I won't have
chaos,
these problems, these financial problems. So I'm just going to start early and take care of myself. Like, I don't think they're taking great care of me. I guess I got to do it myself, and I guess I got to figure out what the job is that will allow for it. So that's probably why I'm a producer, but it's also really unhealthy for a child to be thinking of, work at 13, 14 years old. Yeah. And so to let go of that obsession with order or being very vigilant has taken a long time.
Hypervigilance.
Yes. Oh, it's the worst, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did you come from chaos too, Wayne?
Oh my God!
Chaotic
you don't have a long enough podcast.
Really?
No. You don't want to.
Really?
That's a lot.
You don't want.
You know those videos that you just showed?
Yeah.
That's a little taste.
I have them of a loop.
Oh no!
Really?
Yeah, over my bed every night. Those 2 videos. It's incredible. That's why it wasn't that shocking to watch them.
Yeah.
It's your family.
That's what you're
but
like.
see, the thing is, hypervigilance can work in your favor. It made you highly successful. If you channel anxiety in the right direction,
Yes.
A+.
But then you can't get rid of it because you use that anxiety at work all day. And then you get home and you're not supposed to be anxious in front of your kids or hypervigilant like that.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, or you're just scared for them. I noticed that safety things, you become super aware of safety things.
Huge on that. Starting to loosen up. But I keep a close eye, man.
Like I'm all just like, when you take Uber, take the SUV.
Yeah.
Because the Uber share, that's where you get killed.
Yeah.
With the SUV, just get the expense. Yeah. Like you have 1,000 of those.
Right.
Yes.
Little things of safety.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
I remember I said this to my daughter, and she told me that she remembered it, and it had a big effect on her. And I was shocked that she remembered any advice I had ever given her.
Yeah.
But I said that in this Michael J. Fox book, he said there's no reason to worry about like things that haven't happened yet, because if they happen to happen, then the only thing you've done is suffered through it twice.
Oh,
Right.
God, right.
And out of the blue, my daughter said to me last year, I always remember that Michael J. Fox quote. And I was so shocked, like, oh my God, you've listened. You absorbed something and used it in life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Wait, is there a release date yet for you guys have that so far or no?
For Pete?
Yeah. Sometimes you guys have
June 19th
Wow.
is the Pete movie.
All right.
And
Summer hit.
and it's going to be fun. And Bill Burr's so funny in it. Like it's really exciting because Bill, to see Bill in a big part in a movie where he gets to be emotional and real but super funny.
Yeah.
Also, that was exciting, and they have great chemistry together. They're just a funny pair.
Yeah. That's great, man. One last horrible, hilarious.
I was so hoping that there was more.
Yeah. Oh, there's more.
I mean, you're
going to traumatize Wayne. Oh, for God's
here we go.
sakes.
Yeah, we know where this is going.
No, thanks. I'm taking the headphones out. Thank you.
Why did it take him so long to back up?
Yeah. It's my husband's favorite clip. No one else is laughing, Tom. Nobody's laughing,
Guess
buddy.
what?
You love it.
He's okay.
Nah, he's okay. All right.
He is.
So, do you have any background on any of these stories?
Yeah. This is in Taiwan. It was. This clip was kind of viral there, and people thought for sure at least his legs would be shattered. Nope.
He didn't even break them. Just
didn't break his legs.
Slight bruise.
Yep.
Then I love it. Can we watch it again then? So I want to see it again.
I do kind of want to see it
because now I'm gonna laugh. Now I'm gonna laugh when I really laugh.
The
then he's fine.
You guys are all sociopaths, all of you.
What was the flash? What was the flash I saw? Yeah, I know.
Wait.
What does that word mean?
Stuck.
So where? He's stuck where? On what?
Stuck.
There.
He's like, pull the car up. Yeah.
On the bumper?
On the bumper.
Okay,
Look how concerned he is.
Okay,
He's
let me
really
tell you what
concerned,
made me
right?
laugh was your reaction to it made me laugh.
Yeah.
Because you were so delighted, especially when he's on the car.
But who's the
screaming
driver
stuff.
of these two?
I think it's this dude, and he's like,
On the red
I
one?
think so. Yeah.
Is this a dash cam?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's the.
Okay, can we go back? I just want to.
do like
I only want to look at the guy in red, his entrance,
Yes.
just to see because like sometimes one of my kids will get hurt, and the other one, how she walks over,
Makes it, yes.
Sometimes they run away because they get afraid of the injury.
Yeah.
And so I just want to see what his level of concern
for
is.
somebody that was just hit by a car, this is panic level concern.
Is that what he's doing? He's panicked?
Well, look, check him out.
Let's see.
Let's see.
I mean, gosh. There you go.
What are you doing?
No, I think maybe actually the other guy was the driver, is what I'm, right? Because he
okay.
kind of dipped down, this guy right away.
Okay, yeah,
and this
yeah.
guy was like, I'm trying to have lunch. You guys are fucking everything up.
And then he just walks away.
Yeah, he doesn't even.
Yeah.
That's funny. Okay, can I go back? Because there's like a flash that happens.
Yeah, the flash, I don't know if that's
Can
the
we-
clipboard.
Can we
you
see it
know?
one more time?
Sure.
People-
Yeah, we probably should see it again.
That's the only thing that's... Okay.
Oh, the flash.
Oh, it's from inside. It's something inside flapping up. It's something hitting because of the
but now he's
impact.
stuck. So he's pushing it off, but he's also stuck.
Yeah.
Okay, this is what you like. Yeah.
I don't like any of the clips.
But did he
The
become...
only funny part is that part.
But like
Because
on
it's-
the internet, is there an interview with him? Like, I
Oh
wonder what
my
the
God.
follow-up is. Did he go on all the talk shows in Taiwan?
In Taiwan, I don't
Was
know.
is there a Taiwan version of Ellen that would put there?
There should be.
Did he dance out on a show?
Ryan's
My
all
leg
happy.
is fine.
Oh God.
Yeah.
It is interesting, the whole area of injuries as comedy.
Well,
I know.
America's
for
famous
life.
home, funniest home videos were a lot of that.
Yeah. This is
Oh, no,
one Bob
okay.
Saget would love. Yeah.
Okay.
Where is he?
This is a septic tank.
Is this like a fetish?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not an
What?
injury. There's no injury. There's just a guy.
Oh no.
Just emotional
Oh, no.
injury.
Just an emotional thing.
No, that's
Yeah.
not a real.
That's real.
No, I mean,
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah.
Dr. Drew's favorite clip.
wait a minute. So is he getting hard?
Yeah, probably.
What happens right now?
Yeah, I think so. He's just enjoying it.
Oof, just taking a poop
He's
bath.
wearing that whole fetish mask outfit.
What about the breathing and like getting it in
I
your
know.
eyes?
That's
I
a
think
huge
that's part of the
problem.
danger,
Yeah,
the
that's,
fun
that's
of
part
the
of
danger.
the fun. That's
But
the
then you
juice.
clean it
That's
out
the
after?
juice, baby.
And then you go like, do I get some? Do I have something? Do I have Hep B?
But does he?
Pink eye at least.
Yeah, you think there's got to be pink eye in there somewhere.
At
There's something.
least.
And what is that part?
That part, he's like,
wash
he's showing you,
bathing.
look how daring I am.
I don't
I
like
rub it
that.
on.
Who's
my hand.
videotaping?
It looks like it's just
Hand
it's set up, you know?
Yeah.
And now, do we know?
I like the questions, though.
Do we know the guy? Like, does he ever admit who he is?
No, we have
Oh.
a few that won't show their face, and this guy.
Mm-hmm.
We've
Yeah.
tried to reach out. We also tried to reach out to my Uncle Terry. Well, he's not really mine, but he's a guy who's...
Our Uncle Terry.
Yeah, he does sex toy reviews, and he's actually on Netflix on a show they don't know. So this is like him...
It was an $80 cab ride. I gave him 100. He gave me 20.
It's called Scam
back.
City.
Once
It's
we
like
got
they show
inside the club, we
scams
looked at
that
the
happen in
money,
different
and
parts of the
friend
country.
that we're meeting was like, no, this is fake.
And he
After only a mile, the meter
That guy
was like
talking
4 times what it should have been. So right away,
has a
I just
huge
told
web
the driver
presence
to
that Netflix
stop,
doesn't know
we'll
about.
Get out and pay.
So they have him as
We
a
pull out a 50, and then he starts.
They have him as a
giving us
guy-
change.
Cab driver?
One of the
No,
bills they
a
took
Reenactment.
tourist,
and,
a
that
tourist
was a
in
false
Buenos
note.
Aires in Argentina, and that's him too.
Okay, I'm not going to watch
But
this.
what is he doing there?
He's having
I'm not going to watch this.
he's
I'm not
having
watching
a
it.
ruined
Hey guys,
orgasm.
it's
See?
Pete again, and I'm here to do a little video. I wanted to use this butt vibrating
I
toy that I
can't.
bought.
And what do those contraptions do?
Okay, so that one goes in your ass and it vibrates.
Okay.
The one is in his left hand, the black one.
Okay.
And then that's a double fuck sleeve that he's holding
Yeah.
in his other hand, which has like little bullets, so you can go in it, and then a buddy can go in the other side, and then
And he's reviewing it for
he's
you.
reviewing it for the consumer. So he tries it.
And this
So-
is your cousin?
I wish it's we just nicknamed him Uncle Terry.
Yeah.
But
So you have sex with the contraption,
Right.
And your friend does at the same time.
exactly, and you can, and the option is to put the vibrator in.
Yeah.
You know,
That's the bonus.
And is it a good product? Is that a good one?
he says it's unbelievable.
Does he? What is the scale? What is his like? Is it a 10? Is it 5
Oh,
dildos?
well, he-
what is his?
Well,
thumbs up, thumbs in.
He
What is
tried.
it?
He tried to last, and he couldn't. He had like the opposite of Josh's problem. He's just he busted right away. You know what I mean?
Did you get this for Josh to just see if that would crack the code?
No, and I cannot believe how stupid we are for not getting this for Josh.
And if I was on the other side of it, would it help?
First, I'm going to try and get this in my butt.
I'm not even. I'm not looking. I'm not
I mean,
looking.
he's doing
Cool
this.
little,
Where do we? It's on
remote
YouTube.
control, and
They
the-
said that we were going to have 1,000 channel universe when I
Yeah.
was younger, and now we have whatever millions of channel universe, and
Yeah.
now we know about a lot of people and their behavior, and we can see it in ways we never knew before. And I'm conflicted about if I want to know it.
I don't. I actually specifically don't.
Wayne.
I want to look.
Do you think this
the
is
same thing with
hurt the world?
Remember that video, the two girls, the cup, that whole
Yes.
thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, this isn't that graphic.
No.
though.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
But that was the
just
beginning
things-
of the end.
No, that was the thing. Was like I kind of knew what it was. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't want it in my brain.
Yeah.
I kind of
Yeah.
know what this is, and
I liked it better when there were
Did you
3
watch-
channels and the whole country watched Rhoda. Like I don't need to know all of
It's
it.
kind of interesting to watch him try to get it in. Do you want to try to watch him put it in?
Oh man.
Judd, watch. Go ahead, Judd.
Look,
I'll
just
watch you watch.
Think
I
of your
will not
next
watch it.
film. Who are
Yeah.
we casting?
Yeah.
You're into this.
But it does have kind of a good sized head on it.
I'm not sure what I'm feeling right now. I'm confused about my own feelings.
I like the breathing.
I'm not a big
Last butt toy video.
Voyeur.
contraption
Yeah.
or
Really?
or voyeur.
Yeah.
He's got to
It's
breathe.
rough. See, it's like he's really.
But he has to push past the pain to get to the joy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's never like I never feel the need for any of that.
No, me neither. It's excessive.
You know, like or any of it. I just never think I need anything with
Yeah.
electricity or anything.
No. No.
So let me try and turn it on. The remote doesn't.
But I say this: he's not as charismatic as the first meth guy.
Really?
Excellent point.
Really?
So just so you know, look, if I'm in casting,
Yeah.
and you're like, who would I cast?
Yeah.
First guy first, second guy second, that guy third. If they were all 3 up for the same part,
Because of the charisma.
because of that, this guy, you know, he's putting something up his butthole, but not in a charismatic way.
Right.
So what do you mean though? Because I
What's-
feel
yeah,
his
what's-
excitement. I'm on the journey with him. But what do you see that I don't
There's
see?
a muted aspect to his personality. That's why he probably has to use the contraptions that I have no way in. Although he's putting things in him, I have no way into him.
So you've made
Interesting.
casting decisions, just so casting decisions based on, like, just like the personality of the person, even over the performance of that
Always.
part. Always.
Really?
So, you know, we had Amari Stottlemyre, the basketball player,
Yeah.
was in Trainwreck, and we cast him because we just watched a bunch of talk shows he was on. We're like, oh, if we can get him in that vibe,
He'd be great.
it would be great. And so a lot of times, I don't think, is there a great performance that shows their acting? I think, what is their vibe? What's their spirit? So, you know, seeing Amy Schumer on a talk show might be the best way to get a sense of what's possible
Right.
in a movie.
Right.
Rather than if say she did a small part in something and
Right.
it's like, well, I want to know who she is. But that's just for the kind of stuff I do.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I'm not asking people to act like they're in the 1700s and
True.
have like
Right.
craft
Right.
Right,
to that extent.
Well, that makes sense then.
Let's see another one. What else
But
you
you
got?
sense
Oh my
he's
God.
hiding part of his personality, is what you're saying. This isn't the real Terry, is what. You're
Yes, I
telling
feel like
Yeah.
there's another version of it, which is more
Right.
like what he was like on the Netflix show. He seemed a little
Right.
more comfortable
me. Right. Right.
there.
Right.
But there in both ways, he's helping people, right? Either
Yeah.
with identifying a scam or how to
Right.
participate, whatever
Correct.
that was.
He's a helper.
Good rising.
Okay.
Hi, babe, on this great Saturday. I've been looking at your pictures so long, babe, and they magnify my eyes, babe.
Yeah.
I turn into a telescope when I see your page.
So he's hitting on a girl.
You feel so good to me, babe, that when I meet you and you talk to me, I want you to melt me like hot chocolate candy do.
There's personality there.
It's undeniable. It's undeniable.
Well, what do you feel from a casting perspective? Is he the star of your next film?
I like him. I just like as a person, I like him.
You like him.
The guy with
like
the up
him.
the butt thing, like I don't like him. I don't want to hang out with him. This guy, if you were like, he's at Chipotle right now, let's go over there.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I mean,
hang out with him. Like I would like to know more. It's interesting.
Isn't it clever
Yeah.
that he's saying when he's on your page, he turns into a telescope? That's kind of cute.
Yeah, I know he's sweet. I feel like he actually likes someone there.
Yes.
Okay, I've been
He's
on
romantic.
here, I've been polite, I've been kind.
I don't like
Wait, is this a different guy?
Yeah. I like to have some nookie right on my lips.
What a barf.
I would like to have
This is scarier. This is like Mindhunter.
my face.
Yes.
Yeah. Now,
I don't like
here's
him
the
at all.
thing. He's kind of a creep.
Yes.
He's watching Rachel Maddow. I mean, he's kind of,
He's informed.
Is that what's in his?
Yeah, it's in his lens. It's in his reflection of his lens.
Oh my God.
Really, you wouldn't think that. You'd think he'd be more Hannity guy.
Right.
But he's a Maddow. He loves Maddow.
Loves Maddow.
Who I can make love to. I'm not like one of these young
You'd love
men
it.
or these little boys. They get themselves off and then, oops, they don't care about their partner.
Yeah.
He's trying to say he's giving, which is nice. I like that
Yeah.
he's trying to get there.
Oh,
How scary do you think he actually is? If you were really trying to break it down, like what this is.
Well, he does certain videos with his teeth in. Sometimes
Yeah.
he takes them out, and that can have an effect on how you feel.
What do you think he does for a living?
Nothing hard to do.
No living.
You ever see people and think, how do they survive in
Right,
this
right,
world?
right, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
somebody said for decades, I want this guy by my side all day long at this workspace.
Yeah.
I need this guy.
This guy.
He's getting it done.
The I'll make you come guy.
Yeah.
That's his big line.
Last lady 10, 15 times before I even went boom
I'm going
once.
to throw up with this
I like that
guy.
he says went boom.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Oh, I'll
Yeah.
make you come.
No thanks.
This is what I don't like about the whole idea. This is why I made the 40-year-old virgin.
Yeah.
This all comes around.
Yeah. I mean,
This is all so weird that a lot of what the 40-year-old virgin probably was about is just a guy being uncomfortable with this.
Yeah.
That the things that we do to be sexual, how we express ourselves, can get so weird.
Yes.
And for me, I just get creeped out and uncomfortable.
40-year-old virgin that tackles that whole topic in such a, I don't know, it's like there's like a sweetness to it. I mean, part of that is that Carell has like this real, you believe, you know, that you read how kind he is. But there's also like the built-in desire of all men to be sexual. So like there's a nice
confident.
Yeah.
But what is this? Because if the 40-year-old virgin ended with him having sex with Catherine Keener, he's like, I knew I'd make you go boom. And, like it's a different movie.
Yeah.
It's a
so
different
nasty.
movie.
This
Well,
is
I feel like
delusion, though,
all
right?
these have upset Wayne to a great degree, and we got to wrap
I
up.
can handle it. I can handle it.
I just want to leave you out on a good one, so I pulled
okay.
one here.
Thank you.
Hopefully, this will not
This
make
is
you feel.
From,
I hope it's Wayne.
hope
I
it's
hope the
from-
next one is
I hope-
you found Wayne's
found-
secret video.
He's like, I'll make you go
Wayne
boom.
on a
to God,
dating
this
site.
is from Mary Poppins. Because
Here
I
we
need
go.
to cleanse.
Yeah, let's cleanse the palate. Here we go.
What's up on my Instagram heads?
Jesus.
I'm on a roll today because women are fucking stupid. Okay, they're fucking stupid. Okay, I don't understand why it's so difficult for good guys to meet a fucking sane woman. I don't understand why every woman's a fucking stupid idiot.
There you go.
There you
and
go.
he's
What do
not
you
in
think?
costume because I know it's running through your head right now. You're like, oh, is he about to do a fucking old Geico commercial? No, that's just how he looks.
But that's also a little terrifying, right? That's like, is that like an incel type of thing? Or, and how did you get this? Who's sending this in?
Some nice
monster.
fan
Yeah.
sent it in.
But you know what? He's lonely.
he is lonely.
He is.
So when I look at this, I think
you feel badly for him.
I hope he's treating people well.
See, that's interesting you mentioned that. I, too, have the same reaction of sympathy. However, the I'll make you come guy,
Yes.
before him, I don't have that same thing. And
Exactly.
it must be because he's arrogant enough
Right.
to be like, I'll make you go boom. And it's so nasty.
All right, this one is. Let's do one more.
This
fun
guy's
one.
just
Okay, let's
lonely.
keep him going.
Oh, yo.
Oh, for
no.
God's sake, this guy. I hate this
feel me?
guy.
Just let me eat you.
No.
One
Okay.
time.
You love it.
Just let me eat you one time. And I guarantee you're gonna ask me to stay to your house. You're gonna sleep for 3 days, my baby.
I want to know.
I know. I like this. I'm
He's the
100%
best.
in.
He's
What?
the best.
I'm 100% in. Now, why do I not find that creepy?
know.
I feel like, and you know what? Here's this. I think he'll deliver.
Yeah,
I think he actually will do a good job. I think you'll be satisfied. I think he'll make you breakfast in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm all in.
He's great.
Guess what? I'm with you 100%. Get with that ball. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna make you cry.
Oh, boy.
Ay, ay, ay.
Got a whole
Fun.
catchphrase.
It gets better.
Yeah.
It gets better.
That's great.
I think what you're seeing is enthusiasm. I agree.
There's also
yes.
a level of respect, even though he's bragging.
Yeah.
He
Right.
understands there's certain lines not to cross, and how he expresses
I feel
himself.
like Wayne's traumatized.
I'm not. I can handle it.
I know. It's just fun. It's fun.
He seems like a nice man. Why? I don't know. This
I
is
agree.
just
I don't think he's so creepy. He's just forward.
no. He wants to have fun with you.
Yeah.
This
I know nothing wrong with that.
I have to wrap up.
Okay.
So
Is there a website where I could look at the rest of it?
I'll send you links, dude.
Okay,
I'll
please
send you
send me
links.
links. There's no. And now I'll say this. I don't know why, but I was with Michael Cera in New York, and he's like, was talking about how there's all these videos online that are called public meltdowns or public freakouts, and they're just strings of public meltdowns or
Write
freakouts.
that down,
Now I
please.
haven't watched any
it's on
yet,
our radar.
but since he said it, I'm like, I need to get in a good emotional place to watch.
Yeah.
these.
Oh, are you on TikTok by any chance?
I am not. Is that where
Are you
these
on
live?
Instagram?
Wayne
Come
is.
look
Yes.
at my
No.
stories, and I'll show you the best of humanity.
Oh, okay.
On TikTok, the Christina P. Follow me on Instagram,
Okay.
and you'll see my stories.
And you're on,
Like
Tik-
that.
you're on TikTok as well?
I am on the talk as
Hey,
well, but I prefer
Judd.
to curate
Yes.
my own things.
Have fun there. Have fun on our
Oh,
TikToks.
You're
Yeah.
gonna like it.
Okay.
If you like public meltdowns and weird stuff.
Oh, because you acted like these were shocking you, but you have worse ones.
Oh my god.
I've got all kinds of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Next
So-
time you come back, I'll play them.
That was a lie. Your
Yeah.
sensitivity.
No.
Oh.
I don't like it. I really don't
big,
like
big
that.
lie. Judd
Oh,
Apatow,
stop.
Wayne Federman. The Great
for
Depression is
coming.
coming out. Watch that on HBO.
It's Gary Shandling's book.
It's Gary Shandling's
Pre-order
book.
it.
Okay.
And
That's all we got.
that's it.
That's it. All right. We love you. Thank you guys.
You.
The goal is smooth balls. You want to have hairless, smooth balls. You can feel more. You feel fingers, you feel tongues, you feel mouths, you feel everything more when you don't have a bunch of hair on your ball bag. And Manscaped is here to help your balls get hairless. Manscaped, who is #1 in men's below-the-belt grooming, Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Listen, I love having smooth shaft and nuts, and I do that now with my Manscaped tools. I used to just take like razors and knives and scissors,
Knives,
and it would just be a
Scissors.
bloody mess. I'd just be standing in a pool of blood, and I would miss so many hairs. It was the worst. I just, sometimes I would just let the hair grow out so long, I wouldn't even know what I had down there. I just saw a big bush,
Yeah.
and I saw like a little eye peeking out at me. I'm like, I guess that's my ding dong. But now, oh man, the little bit that I do have looks big. It looks nice because I clean it up with my Manscaped Perfect Package 2.0. Inside the Perfect Package, you'll find the electric trimmer called the Lawnmower 2.0. Waterproof and skin-safe technology will prevent you from nicking your balls and standing in that pool of blood. You can also create less by trimming in the shower. And of course, don't forget the Crop Preserver, an anti-chafing ball deodorant and moisturizer. It's true. You always make your pits smell good. You put whatever, body spray, cologne on. What about the stinkiest, nastiest, smelliest part of your body? Under your bag and between the cheeks. Put some stuff in there, make those smell good so she wants to eat your scrum.
Okay.
The Perfect Package 2.0 also includes anti-chafing performance boxer briefs to keep your package cool and smelling fresh all day. For on-the-go freshness, you'll love the Crop Reviver Ball Toner Spray. Wow. It's time to get it clean with the Perfect Package 2.0. Get 20% off, free shipping with the code MOM at manscaped.com. Always use the right tools for the job. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code MOM at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. Use the code MOM, and if everything's nice and clean, maybe she'll put her mouth on there. All right, our guest today just blew us away when we saw him the first few times at the Comedy Store. Then we both have had him come do shows with us. And he's killing it. It's just getting bigger and better, and everything's going in the right direction. So I'm super happy to have with us today Brian Simpson. Thanks, Brian, for coming by.
Simpson.
This is a long time overdue, man. And I mean it. Like I remember the first time I saw you. Actually, I remember watching you in the belly room, and I watched for a few minutes, and then I laughed my ass off. And then sometimes when you see somebody, you're like, am I right to think that someone I don't know is as funny as I think they are? So, you know what I mean? I was like, this dude's really funny, right? Then I walked up to Adam and I was like, hey, that guy's really funny, right? He's like, he's super fucking funny.
Oh, yeah.
And then we started, I asked you to do a show at the store with me, And then you came to Vegas with me.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was awesome. Oh, we also did the Riverside Theater.
Yeah.
Out in Riverside, and then I know Christina's you've had.
Yeah,
him
you
on
were
a
on
couple
my
of
Comedy Store.
No,
I forget
we
which
did.
one.
I think we did Flappers. No, what we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you got to come do Flappers. I do Thursdays. You're invited.
Really?
Just come.
Okay.
Yeah, you're fantastic.
But
We
you
love
killed it on all these shows, and then then all of a sudden, like the things you expect to happen with good comics. Then just one day I saw you like, oh, I'm on Spade's show tonight. You did you killed on that show.
Yes, congratulations.
So
no, but y'all talked me into staying. 'Cause remember when I came and did your show at the store?
Yeah,
and it was just the three of us.
That's right.
And I was talking to y'all about how I was about to leave because I kept being like defeated. Like I kept being the funniest person on like whatever showcase, and I wasn't getting anything out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I had just gotten past, but that was the only thing that had ever happened.
Right.
And y'all were like, and Christina was like, "Are you fucking crazy?"
Yeah, man.
No,
you're so talented.
You only been here for how long? A few years. Like you shut the fuck up, stay.
That's true. Because actually, I just talked to someone yesterday. Oh yeah, Bert and I went to this place, and somebody who works there, this girl works there. She's like, "Oh, I'm a comedian." I'm like, "How long you been doing it?" She said like 8 or 9 months. Oh, and I was like, "Well, the only thing I can really tell you besides the obvious things is just don't stop, right? Because when we look back now, like I'm going on to year 18, I think, coming up for me of being out here doing stand up. I go, the one thing that just stands out is that the people that are working now and that have had things happen in their careers stayed and kept doing it. Yeah. And the ones where you're like, what happened to that person? They just like part of this grind is like just staying in it. Yeah. Keep doing it, right? Because we always talk about what happened to that person and that person. It's like they just stopped. And like, I just don't want you to stop, man.
And there's nothing more depressing than like being at the store and having a comic show up. It's like an old man, and he's like, I used to.
Oh, yeah.
Back in 874, that's my name right there on the wall. Like, oh, shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting? I was just thinking what you were just saying. When Tom and I first started, I say I was like year 6 or 7 in stand-up, and I used to watch a little comedian named Sebastian.
Yeah.
Remember he had at the time the Ross Dress for Less.
Ross Dress for Less bit. Yeah.
And I remember we were on the same show as him in Santa Monica at some bar.
Yeah.
And I just remember watching him and being like, wow, these guys, like, he was like the king of, not the open micers. We were like the booked show goers at the time. But he had already been doing it for, how many years.
Yeah, definitely. He was, and
he's deep in the game,
He was grinding it out, and that was his signature bit.
Yeah.
About what it's like to shop at
Ross.
Right.
So it's still so good.
It's so good. But the point being, like, we thought we were kind of far along, but then you looked at Sebastian and he was farther along, and it took that long now for him to be at the level he's at. It just takes time.
It takes time. It does.
It's a marathon.
It really is. Yeah. So I mean, when we were hanging out in that back room, I got to know just little tidbits about you, and when we did the road, about like how you were in the military.
Oh yeah.
And then you were in foster care.
Yep, I was in foster care. Yeah.
And where is DC home then?
Yeah, well, I was born in DC, but I was a foster kid in PG County, Maryland. So which is basically DC.
Okay. And then how early were you in the foster program?
Well, I was in there once when I was from like age like 5 to like 11. And then again from 13 till I was an adult.
So before 5, were you at home? You were with your biological?
I was with my biological mom and her mom.
Okay.
And
do you have memories of that then? Because 5, you would.
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
Kind of hazy a little.
Yeah, I kind of have memories of it, yeah. And then one time, because my mom left because my grandma liked to date abusive men and she couldn't take it, so she left. And my grandma was like working 2-3 jobs, and she used to clean houses for rich people, and she was a nurse and all this other shit. So me and my brother we walked across the street to go to school. We would be home by ourselves. I was 5, he was 7, and then one day a police officer knocked on the door, and you know how they used to have the cops come talk to you at school for the dare, and they would all say their name was Officer Friendly. And he knocked on the door and was like, hey, because my grandma was like, don't you open this fucking door for nobody, not Jesus Christ, not even me. I got the key.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he was like, oh, it's officer friendly. I was like, oh, I know that. I know him.
I know him.
I opened the door. It was not the officer friendly I remember. You know what I mean? And that led to, Child Protective Services getting involved. Blah, blah,
So they
blah.
took you away right then.
What?
They didn't take us away right then, but they gave us to our aunt, who, and she tried to do it for a little while, but she already had 2 kids already, and so she couldn't do it. So they, they sent us with my brothers. Me and my brother have different dads. They sent us with his dad's mom, and that worked out for a little while. I was there for a few years, and then
a few years.
Yeah, I was there from that. That's the longest I lived anywhere before I joined the military. And then they found my dad, and then me and my brother got split up. I went with my father, and he stayed with his grandmother. And that was a whole adventure. Just getting into it with the family and my stepmom and my dad and all of that. And then I ended
What was it like being I guess reunited kind of with your dad?
I think it was weird, because me and my dad are close now, but back then I was just a handful, man.
Oh, you were?
Oh yeah, just because I think when you that young and you don't realize it, but you have you don't trust authority,
right?
Because adults keep passing you around, so
right?
So you get that feeling of fuck them, I'll never forget when it happened to me. They tried to put me on Ritalin, right? Because my teacher kept telling me I was bouncing off the wall, blah, blah, blah. But I ain't trust this shit because I ain't never heard of the shit, right? And my grandma used to make us, take it in front of her, and I started I would hide it under my tongue and spit it out. And after a month, they had a parent-teacher conference, and I watched my brother's mother, my grandma. I watched her, the teacher, and the school counselor sit there and talk about how my behavior had improved and all this other shit.
And you're like,
suckers.
They were just patting themselves on the back, and I was sitting there and that's the first time I realized, oh, these motherfuckers don't know what they talking about. I'm gonna do what I want.
Yeah.
But after that, I was like, I'm gonna do what the fuck I want.
Yeah.
Yeah. But good for you. First of all.
No, that wasn't a good. Well, I mean, I guess it's the reason I'm a comic, but
right.
Yes, but that spirit of, I think when you grow up in a dysfunctional system, there's 2 ways you can go. You can continue the dysfunctional system,
right.
And have children early and do the same stuff that was done to you, or you can be like, wait a minute, I'm in the Matrix. Something's weird. These motherfuckers are dumb. I'm different. Fuck you. I'm gone. So I think you're describing is kind of an awakening where you go no, you guys don't know shit.
Well, the real awakening
beginning.
didn't happen until I started doing stand up.
Yeah, because the awakening then was to be rebellious, probably, right?
Good for you.
Right. It was because it can be dangerous because you think you're being rebellious, but what you're actually doing is you're just doing the opposite of whatever adults are telling you.
You're being destructive,
right?
Right.
You're just whatever you say, I'm gonna do the opposite.
So what did you get? Did you get into fights, drugs?
Yeah. Fights all the time. Fights. I've gotten into fights with my dad, my brother.
Physical fights.
Yeah, people at school. I was throwing hands on a regular basis. Yeah, or getting my ass whooped.
Yeah,
I caught a lot of L's.
Really?
Oh yeah, because I didn't give a fuck. I was like, I'll take this L, but you'll
know that I'm somebody that fights.
Right?
Yeah, you're gonna remember me, man.
But then when I spent all that time just bouncing around, and then at one of my foster homes, I was playing with a gun and shot. I shot the other foster kid.
What?
Yeah, man. It was some wild shit.
Holy shit.
That fucked me up.
Of course.
Yeah, and I
Did he live?
Well, that's interesting, right? So he had the gun. He was holding a gun for somebody. And one day he was fucking with me, playing with it, you know what I mean? And I woke up in the middle of the night and he was like, don't you fucking move, you know what I mean? And I was like, oh my God. Then he turned on the lights and was laughing, you know what I mean? And
that's funny.
Right. No, it was funny to me at the time, right? But because I watched him show me oh, look, it's empty, dumbass, and then he loaded it back up, and I'm like, all right, whatever, I'm gonna get you back. And then a month later or so, he was in the shower getting ready for a date, and I went and grabbed it, and and I did what he did, and I dropped the clip out.
You forgot there's one in the chamber.
It was one in the chamber. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And because I didn't know shit about guns, I had never seen or touched a gun, and I saw him that's how he showed me it was empty. So I was like,
shit, dude.
Boom.
So how close were you to him?
I was as far from me to you, maybe.
Where'd you shoot him?
In the stomach. and it was a deuce too. So, you know, it's not a high enough caliber to break bones, so it'll just bounce around inside you. You know, man, that was such a fucking crazy night. And I remember trying to lie. I was trying to, because I knew the gun was dirty.
You're
like
stressing me out, man.
You know, the gun had bodies on it or something. You know, I knew it was dirty, so I was trying to lie to protect him, but I also wanted them to help him. So like, the cops was. When they got to the house, the ambulance got to the house. The paramedics got there before the cops, but they couldn't come in till the cops cleared the house.
Whoa! Oh, right,
right.
Man.
So and they're like, we don't know if it's somebody still inside.
Well,
And
let me cut you off for 1 second.
Oh
When the ambulance shows up, the guy, is he laying in the tub?
No. He's in our room. So he came out the shower and we shared a bedroom. He came out the shower and came into the bedroom. And he's on the floor naked in a towel.
Bleeding.
Well, I did. It was like bile mixed with it, so it was like green and.
But like profusely bleeding.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
and but still talking, still like he's telling me what to do, but profusely. And I remember he told me to call his friend, and he was like, tell him what I call his friend, and I'm like, yo, he's like, yo, call 911, and I'm like, yo, he told me to call you. He's like, he's dying, nigga.
Yeah,
don't listen to him. You know what I mean? Because I ain't know what to do.
Yeah,
but the cops were already. One of the neighbors had already called the cops. Yeah, man. And that's actually how they knew I was lying, because...
Who knew you were lying?
The cops.
About what, where the gun was?
Right. No, because I told the cops that somebody came in the back door and shot him or somebody came in and shot him and ran out of the back door.
Yeah.
You know, because he told me to tell them that and told me to throw the gun over the back door fence. And that was the most bitch-ass throw. I threw it like 3 feet. Yeah, I threw it like 3 feet, like the most, because that just go to show you when you a kid how you think you so much smarter than everybody.
Yeah.
Because the cop knew I was lying because back
door is locked.
Well, someone called the cops while I was calling his friend, so they knew exactly what time the calls were, and then I called the cops after. You know, and then 2, my fingerprints was on the gun. You know, 3, I had gunpowder residue on my hands.
I mean, how much of are you in a panic as this is all happening? Because I feel like I am like hyperventilating just hearing the story.
I wasn't panicking. I was just overwhelmed. You know what I mean? It was too much for me.
So do the cops, they come in, they clear the house?
How old are you?
They pulled me out of the house.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting outside watching the paramedics just wait. And I'm like, I'm sitting there like, what, you know? And
how old are you at the time?
At that time, I think I was 14.
Oh my God.
You were 14?
Yeah.
Jesus,
dude,
Christ.
I thought you were gonna tell me like 26.
No,
he's in foster care.
I forget what time period this is.
No, I was 14. Man.
Oh my gosh. So okay.
How's the kid? The other kid that got shot?
He was 16 or 17.
So do they finally go in?
They finally go in. You know, they get him to the hospital. He's in intensive care. All this and that. The families. So now I'm in the police station. And to me, I'm thinking I told the perfect lie, but this cop has just figured me all out. He tells me exactly what happened. He's like, he's like, listen, man, I don't think you shot him on purpose, but I know you shot him. You know what I mean? And he tells me,
nah.
Right. I'm like, nope, no, I didn't. No. And then he tells me exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, fuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and then he takes me to the hospital with the family. You know, and I'm
this kid's family?
Well, no, because he was a foster kid too.
Right. So with what family?
So my foster mom,
yeah,
her family, her husband had just passed away, and so it's her brother who hated me, and you know her sisters and her real kids and all of that, and we all sitting around, and now they still don't know that it was me. They bought my story, you know what I mean? Because they don't know the shit the cop knew.
Right.
They still don't know it was me, and. You know, and I can tell it's certain people that think it was, you know, but they think it was like nefarious shit, like I shot him, was trying to shoot him or whatever. And I can hear little whispers, little rumors. The mom is just devastated because she was like the sweetest fucking lady, like the nicest lady. And he pulls her to the side and like they're over there, and I watch him telling her, and she just like falls apart in tears. You know what I mean? Because she's mostly sad because she knows what's going to happen to me.
Right.
Not, you know what I mean? She knows that I'm going to get taken out of her home and put it, because once you do shit like that, you get labeled a problem child. So you only go to homes that will take like fucked up kids.
Yeah.
You know? And yeah, and I didn't get to, so I wasn't allowed to contact him.
The kid?
Right. So I didn't know whether he died. Well, I knew he didn't die because he was the only one that could confirm the real story. You know what I mean? So I knew he didn't die because I never got in no trouble.
You didn't get in any trouble?
No.
What? Well,
How'd
what's
that
the
happen?
statute of limitations?
Because I think it has something to do with the fact that like you technically the state is your parent.
Mm-hmm.
So they are responsible for you.
But you lucked out on that, man. On not getting any trouble.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, he did.
They could have given you, you know, I mean, at a minimum, some type of like aggravated, you know, weapons charge or, you know what I mean? Attempted murder.
I mean, I don't know that no one got in trouble. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But he lived.
He did live, but I didn't speak to him until I was like 30.
Fuck. And how did that go?
It was good because, you know, I was dreading I didn't speak to any of them, and I was dreading the conversation. And because I thought, you know, I thought everyone was upset with me. I didn't know his condition. I didn't know if he got shitting with a bag and all that, you know.
Yeah.
And so I finally, like, she was best friends with my previous foster mother, so I got her number through them, and I called her, and she fucking laughed about it. She was like, "Oh yeah, I remember that. You were something else." I was like, "What?
Something else?"
Yeah, she was like, 'cause that's the kind of person she was. She was just so forgiving and so like you know how you meet all these bullshit ass Christians.
Yeah.
Like she was a real Christian. Like she was about that life. You know what I mean? So she was like all about forgiveness. You know what I mean? Like the internet would hate her now. She would have hugged that Amber Geiger. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like she was that kind of person. So and then I talked to him about it, and he was like, it was nothing. Like it was, to me, it was like one of the most significant
traumatic experiences
and
ever.
to them, it was just like some stupid shit that I did.
He was like that too. He's like,
Yeah.
"Oh man, come on."
Seriously?
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine the torture of carrying around that guilt for 16 years. You were like, is this kid alive? Is he shitting in a bag? Does everyone? I mean, that's
a lot.
Heavy to
Heavy
carry
stuff.
around for 16 because you feel like a piece of shit. You probably felt like, I'm such an asshole. Like I'm such a piece of shit, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I would go back and forth between that. And I remember I sat in the dark a lot.
Yeah, I would too. Fuck.
Over that incident?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't realize you're fucked up. You know
I
what I mean?
know.
And then, but here's the whole irony of it all, is all the training I did in the Marine Corps, and I never shot anybody.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Yeah.
So wait, after they remove you from that house after the shooting incident, do you get thrown to a house that's like you know what I mean, like you were saying, fucked up kid house? Yeah. And how was that?
I go to a house and it's like these kids have like been through some shit. You know what I mean? Like some real shit where they're like being abused, tortured, sold off, you know.
And you're living with them now.
Or they got found in a box or some shit, you know, and I'm sitting there like, oh man, they like, where you here for? I'm like, well, you know, my mom left or whatever.
But are you like, I shoot motherfuckers just so you know?
No,
Don't fuck with me.
Actually, you know what? It never came up.
Really?
Nope.
So you always kept that like a secret, basically, right?
Yeah. I never talked about it until I started doing stand up.
Really?
Yeah. Because when I started doing stand up from this, there's this storytelling like nonprofit in San Diego called So Say We All, and they bring you in to do these workshops. They're like like, you know, NYU grads, you know, writer, literary people or whatever, and they bring in people with like dope stories and teach you how to like write the story, and then you perform it like in front of people. And that they got me doing stand up.
That's how you got started doing stand up?
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah, that dude was like, we're thinking about doing stand up. You know, you want to do it? I walked into a bar one time and I was flirting with his girlfriend. I was like making all her friends laugh, and then he walked up and was like, I didn't know this, but that show had just ended at this bar. And he walked up and was like, I thought he was gonna have a problem. And he was like, hey dude, you funny as shit. You wanna come back to the crib? I'm like, yeah. We went back, drank, smoked, and he's like,
Fucked his girlfriend?
No, didn't fuck his girlfriend. No, didn't fuck his girlfriend. But he was like, yo, we think about doing stand up. You wanna do it? Just like the show's in like 3 months. I was like, yeah.
Oh wow.
And so then I started hitting the mics because I wanted to do good at that show.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's how I got into it, man. Just storytelling and that.
You're a natural, dude.
Natural.
I'm telling you, I keep thinking about it. You gotta do not stop doing it.
No, I never. I couldn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't. Anything like if I had to stop doing stand up, I don't know. I would lose my mind.
Yeah. No, that means you're not
Get
gonna
that.
stop.
Yeah, you won't.
So wait, when you get into, let's say, problem house with like torture kids and shit, how long do you stay in that house for?
Fuck, it's kind of blurry. I think so. That was 14, 15. So I stayed in that house till I was in that house twice. So I stayed in the house, and I forget what I did to have to leave the house. I think I fucking, I don't know what I did to leave the house, but I ended up temporarily going way out to like where the rich white kids lived and going to like this fancy group home.
In Maryland?
It was in Maryland somewhere. I forget what part though, but it was one of those schools where like the kids had cars already. Like the kids my age had BMWs and parking spots, and they could leave campus, and they had you
like, what the fuck?
They required you to have all this expensive shit in your classes that was like nothing to them. They were hella racist out there.
Were they?
Oh yeah, dude.
Like to your face?
Look, I dropped into the middle of the semester. This was another problem with being a foster kid. Is like every time you move, you go to a new school district or something, you behind because you in the middle of this, right? So I'm in the middle of the semester, and I'm just telling this lady, like, lady, look, I don't know how to use this calculator. Can you just give me? Can I like come meet you at office hours? I'll bring you a sandwich. She was like, nah. I was like, well, can you put me with a kid? No, she didn't. She did not give a fuck.
Real at this nice ass school.
At this nice ass school, and so I said, fuck. I started skipping school with this other kid that was in the group home, and we leave for lunch one day. We in the woods smoking weed. We come back to school. The school officers there to like fucking arrest us.
Oh God.
So they got pictures of us. So they had cameras in the woods out back to school. Yeah, they had pictures. They had pictures of me smoking.
And they're like, check out this photo, man.
Right. They had pictures of me smoking weed, and just them with me. So, but they knew it was him because he was like trouble, and they wanted me to snitch on him, So they had me in the principal's office, whoop, 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 telling me all this shit. And she was like, listen, you can't fuck up your future, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, why don't you talk to that bitch ass teacher that won't even show me how to use the calculator? Why are you worried about trying to get my friend in trouble? But I was the fuck about it because I was only there as a favor because I was too old to be in that home. I think I was 17 and you had to be.
They kicked you out?
Oh yeah, and the only home that would take me back was the last one.
Oh Jesus!
So I went, yeah. So I went up in there. I went back, and then it was other shit in between, but it's all kind of blurry to me. I would have to like read my record.
Well, how does the decision come to go to the Marine Corps from there? Is it like something you wanted to do, or is it like
much of a choice?
I don't want to hear?
No, because I think I had finally got fed up, and So when you turn 18, at least this is how it used to be. When you turn 18 in foster care, you go back to. So you can either go to college and they'll take care of you till you 21, or you can like emancipate yourself. Like you got kind of options or whatever.
Right.
But I just wanted my independence. Like I was tired of like adults making decisions for me that they wouldn't have to be around for the consequences. You know what I mean? Whereas like. They decide, oh, you know what time you playing the trumpet. Then you go 6 months into the trumpet, then they kick you out their house, and then, and you hate the fucking trumpet, but you invested all your time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But even other little shit, So I just wanted to not be under their thumb. So I ended up moving back in with my stepmom for a little while. And
I know you like 18 at this point. 19?
Now I'm either 18 or I'm about to be.
Okay.
And I get a little job. I've already dropped out of high school. I get a little job, and I remember I got into a fight with my boss at work, like a physical fight. Look, I'm gonna tell y'all something. So I was working at a clothing store up at the mall, and this motherfucker, it was run by like some shady motherfuckers, and they was always late with our paychecks. And I go back up with the check. I go up to get my check on my day off, and they're not ready. And I'm waiting. They're like, just hold on a little bit, and I'm waiting there. I'm there for like an hour, waiting for my check. And then the manager comes out and goes, "Hey man, why you here? Can you help us with inventory? Like, can you just clock in and help us with inventory? And I lost it. I was like, man, fuck you. I'm not helping with shit. Give me my motherfucking check. Now keep in mind, I'm 17 or 18, and this dude he's at least 4 or 5 years older than me. He used to be a football player, strong as a motherfucker. But I had never got into it really with a grown man that wasn't in my family, you know, that don't really want to harm me. This motherfucker was because he was already frustrated from the boss, from dealing with the boss, because he was dealing with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And all that frustration and aggression turned out on me. He was like, you know what? Get the fuck out of the store. And I'm like, make me get out of the motherfucking store. This motherfucker put he grabbed me and slammed me so effortless, dog. Like he threw me like 10 feet, like it was nothing. Bam! And I immediately, you know how like you ever have somebody put strength on you and it immediately takes the motherfucking aggression out of you because you're like, this is a fight I'm gonna lose. For sure.
Yeah.
It was like that.
I got no shot. Yeah.
So I went back. I went home. You know, took my little Epsom salt bath to heal up, and I wait for
this dude tossed you.
Oh yeah, and it was clearly like he didn't even have to say you're fired or don't come back or none of that shit.
Yeah, you're like,
yeah, and he was so fucking huge. He was so strong that like I'm looking around for the mall security or somebody to do something, and they was looking at me like, nah, nah, we don't want none of that. So I wait for my check comes in the mail. It's like a little $300 or something, and I use that to buy weed. I sell all the weed. I got 1 or 2 little bags of weed left in my pocket, and I'm walking to the basketball court. And the cops, they're always fucking with us. The cops come up, pull up on us in the parking lot, and say that they got a report that somebody was selling CDs in the parking lot, which is they always make up a reason why they fucking with you. And I get caught with the weed on me.
Oh,
it's just a bag of weed, 1 bag of weed left.
Yeah.
And but to me, it was like, oh man, oh no, blah blah blah. So then one day, my uncle picks me up from jail, and on the way home, he's like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, what do you see yourself in 5 years?" Which is the first time anyone has ever asked me about the future.
Right.
And I was like, "Oh shit, I don't know. I don't think about that." He's like, "You ever thought about joining the military?" It's like, "Oh, maybe, I don't know." And so I get my GED. I try to join the Air Force. But the pending weed charge is like keeping me from joining.
Yeah.
So the Air Force guy on the phone, he's like, "Yo, you're not Air Force material," and hung up on me.
Oh,
damn.
God.
Yeah. So I called back to curse this motherfucker out, but a Marine answers the phone.
Oh.
So I don't know if I called the wrong number or if there's just a hotline or whatever the fuck. He answered the phone and he's like, "What?" I told him, I was like, "Yo, I got a little weed charge." He's like, "How much weed?" I was like, "A little bag of weed." He was like, "Look, I'll come pick you up."
Really?
Yeah.
The Marine.
He's like, you're Marine material.
Right. And he's like, I'll come pick you up. And then the ASVAB, you take the ASVAB test, you know, to see what job you can get in the Marine Corps, like the military SAT, if you will. And but before they take you down there, you take a little practice one in their office. You know what I mean? Because they have quotas and shit.
Yeah.
And I smashed that shit. I aced it. And he was like, "Oh man, dude, you can have any job you want." I was like, he was like, "What do you want to do?" I was like, "Yo, I want to fucking kill people." And he was like, no. He was like, "No, you don't understand." It's like, "Yo, you can do any job. Like you can
I want to kill people.
Right.
That is a Marine motto right there.
Well, I was just angry. I didn't really, because you know, at the time, it's like the aggression, you want to kill people, but you don't realize the other side of that is people might kill you.
Right. Yeah.
Once I realized that, I was like, nah, fuck all that.
Yeah.
You know.
My dad loves bringing that shit.
Yeah, he was like, "This is what you do. You go in, you take one of these fucking technical jobs, and you come out of this motherfucker making money."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he was so right. I'll never forget him. Shout out Staff Sergeant Scott, or he probably higher ranked than that by now, or retired or some shit. But
yeah.
He really fucking was into.
He directed you correctly.
Oh yeah. I mean, he was probably trying to bang my stepmom too, but
right.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. He went out of his way to help me, dude. And he was so so he showed up at my house like 2 weeks later. And he had a letter from the court saying that they declined to prosecute.
Really?
Yeah.
So did he handle that?
I don't think he's allowed to. I don't know what he did, but you know, Marines are, you know, they always know the way they can technically get around the rule or whatever. But I know they dropped the fucking charges.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I love that you show up. You're like, I want to kill people.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, you did that for me? Like, yes, I will join the Marine Corps. So he comes to pick me up to to go to the MEP station where like you gonna take your piss test, you know, get all your shit out of the way. And he was like, you got anything going on? Anything that I need to know about? Anything else that might disqualify you? And I was like, I'm high right now.
Oh.
I was leaving and I smoked weed with my brothers and my cousins.
Yeah.
Like one last time. And I was like, yeah, I smoked weed yesterday. You know, and he was like, God damn it. Turn the motherfucking car around. Took me to I don't know, CVS or somewhere like that. Bought a gallon of water, and he was like, this better be fucking gone when we get where we're going.
What? That works?
No, then he drove me to like some other lab where they gave me a piss test there. And I mean, I ain't never had to piss better in my whole fucking life. I smashed that gallon of water, you know.
And you passed it?
I passed that test because you don't have to have none. It just has to be so diluted,
right?
Because I'm pretty sure that I drank enough water to where, you know how it can kill you.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I was borderline.
Right.
It was too much water.
Drowning.
Yeah. And I got to the MEP station and I passed that shit.
Damn.
And then is it off to like Paris Island? Or
No.
something?
And then he grabbed me like on some real shit, like grabbed me with like power. He was like, when you get to boot camp, you're gonna have another piss test. You know, because here's the thing, they don't really test everybody. At least back then they didn't.
Yeah.
They test. They'll test like 30 of you and put you all in one box, and they'll randomly test one of the samples, and if one of those fails, they'll test the whole box, right? But the way they count on catching people in boot camp is most people tell them themselves. You know, because you so used to believing in the power of the government that you think they got technology and shit that they don't.
Yeah.
So he was like, it's a time gonna come up called the moment of truth, and they're gonna, you know, after they piss test you, they're gonna pull everybody in the room and go, listen, everybody's results are back from the test, and before I read them, if anybody wants to come clean about something and let me know now, then the penalty will be way less, right? And he was like, when that moment comes, if you stand up and get sent back home, I'm going to fucking kill you. And he meant it. He wasn't kidding.
Yeah.
Because all the shit he did, all the way he went out of his way and put his ass on the line so that I could.
So he's like, when that happens, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, he was like, when that happens, you shut the fuck up. And I did. And I saw a whole, and I wanted to tell people, and I saw a whole bunch of people standing up.
Really?
Oh, yeah. We probably lost like 8 people. You know? And I was like, God damn.
And then how was boot camp, dude?
You know, I mean, it was.
Is it brutal, or you're like, it's just hard, but you get over it?
It's just more psychological.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, how hard it is physically, it just depends on what shape you in when you get there.
How were you?
I was bad.
Yeah.
I was bad. Yeah, pretty bad shape. Yeah. I was dying, but by the time I left, I was great.
Yeah.
But
how long was it?
It was 13 weeks.
Oof, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's brutal though. It gets brutal, but most of it is like psychological. Like, and I know some people that were like it was easy. Those people are psychopaths.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody had a good time.
Yeah.
Nah.
At boot camp.
What's a day like in boot camp?
Oh shit.
What's the psychological part then that you're speaking of? Like, what's an example?
The psychological shit is like because they play you. There's a senior drill instructor, and he is like the dude that he has all these assistants, and the assistants hate you just because you're a civilian. They think you're scum. They think you don't deserve to be a Marine, and they treat you that way.
Yeah.
And the senior drill instructor is there, like he stands back and lets them fuck you up, and then he comes in and goes, okay, you know, all right, that's enough. Y'all get out of here, go home. You treat my kids bad, go home.
Yeah.
And that happens a few times, you know what I mean. And then one day, out of the blue, he'll come in and he'll be pissed about something, and he's like, you know what, y'all fucking disrespect me like this. And he'll fucking leave and just leave you with
the assholes.
Right. And bro, when I tell you that that shit works on everybody.
Yeah, it's an abusive parent.
Because it's like the whole process is to break you down.
Yep, to build you up.
To make you believe you're nothing as you are. And then when you're finished, you're better than everyone. That's why all these motherfuckers get out of boot camp. They cocky as fuck. They think they invincible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They break you down, and then they're like, but the reason that you're awesome now is because of the Marine Corps.
Oh yeah,
That's why you're awesome.
Because the whole point is to push you. The whole point is to make you get you used to misery. One, get you used to operating when things are miserable. Two, to get you to instantly obey. To get you so scared of not obeying that you don't even think, you just do what you're told. And then three, to make you believe that you can do shit even when you know you can't. Because a whole bunch of times you'll hit what you think is your limit. You know, because that's the one thing I got out of boot camp is like sometimes I think people think that trying your hardest is when you try until it gets hard. Like people try till it gets hard and they go, oh, I tried.
That was hard, yeah.
Right. But really in the Marine Corps, it's like, no, trying your hardest is trying till it gets hard and then going harder.
Right.
Until you fucking got nothing. And when it hurts so bad, when your whole body hurts and you still got fucking, 3 miles to go. You know what I mean? And you go until you can't fucking go.
And you actually end up completing it, and you're like, wow, I can really go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they make you. Every time they make you do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. What great training for life.
My dad is
What
watching
great
this
training.
episode right now. He's just masturbating.
Yeah. I'm masturbating. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
For me, it's like the Marine Corps wasn't for me, but I needed that.
Yes, you did at the time.
I needed to stop, like because of the foster care shit, like I needed to stop feeling sorry for myself.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I needed to stop, because the Marine Corps don't give a fuck what your mommy did or any of that shit. They like, all of us got problems, but also this thing need to be over there or people gonna die.
Right.
And that's your job. Everybody else got other jobs.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's important in this moment?
Yeah. There's no crying in the Marine Corps.
I love it. It's the model of a survivor. I think it was a great time for you to be in the Marine Corps because that was the time you needed to survive your horrible childhood and everything, and to become a stand-up comedian.
I needed the stability. I needed the stability too.
Yeah.
That was the Marine. That was the longest I ever lived anywhere, with the same people.
So did you count down the days though as your time there was ending? You know what I mean?
In the Marine Corps?
Yeah. Were you like, oh fuck?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was ready to get the fuck up out of there. Yeah.
4 years you did?
5.
5.
Yeah. But there was a discrepancy where I ended up, because my actual unit was in Yuma, Arizona, which is like America's asshole. It's the shittiest, hottest desert town.
Uh-huh.
But they had a detachment in Miramar, San Diego, and
Which is not America's asshole.
No, which is not America's asshole.
America's
No, it's the
paradise
best-
hole.
and with my job, it's the best place you can be sent as a Marine with my job, right?
Yeah.
And
What was your job again?
I was a tactical air operations module repair.
What?
I worked on a radar connects to this box where people control flights, and I fixed the box.
Wow, that's kind of a cool gig.
Yeah.
It wasn't cool. It was boring.
Really? It sounds really hard.
No.
No.
I mean, because you don't have to be smart. They send the genius with you everywhere you go.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So the genius is like, now take that off.
Yeah, well, he's just there in case of some shit that you can't solve.
Yeah.
So your job is just to be smart enough to understand his instructions.
Right.
So when he's like, you need to get up in there and remove this and remove that and put that in there, and you just do that.
And then he's like, oh, all right.
Yeah, but nothing ever broke because we maintained the shit out of it. It was like there was never an issue that just that couldn't be resolved with like a part or two, But they they sent a temporary unit to Miramar, and then I got there shortly after that, and then they made the unit permanent. So in the system, it looked like we all moved from Yuma to San Diego, even though we'd all been there the whole time. So we didn't have to move again.
Oh.
So even though people usually move around a lot in the military, I was in the same place with the same people
for 5 years
for the whole time.
That's good, but you needed that.
Yeah, not for the whole because some of that time was in school, but yeah,
sure.
Man, it was great. It was the best. I was the only black person for a long time.
How's that feel?
It's got to be weird, right?
Oh yeah. It was a culture shock for me.
Right.
Yeah. And what I didn't realize was that people, and this was sort of what made me go from being so serious all the time to being funny, is that I didn't know that. So in the schoolhouse before you get sent to your job, if you get the best grade, you get to pick where you go. And I was 7th out of 8 people because I fuck school, and they sent me to the best place. And what they told me at the time was, yeah, you didn't do well, but you're the smartest person here, right? Trying to like boost my ego. But when I got there, everyone was acting all fucking weird. You know what I mean? And when one time, and then my warrant officer put me in his office one day, and he was like, "So how you doing, Simpson?" Like, I was like, "Sir," and he was like, "Relax." I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like, no one ever asks you how you're doing, or tells you to relax
in the Marine Corps.
Never, unless it's like a problem about to go down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, "What? Relax? Like, what do you mean relax?" He's like, "No, relax." I'm like, "Relax." Like, okay. And he's like, "How are you?" And I'm like, "Well, to be honest with you, sir, everyone's acting fucking weird. Like, everybody was being super nice to me. They would stop. Like I could hear the conversation shift when I walked in the room and shit like that, you know? And then he closed the door and was like, "Look, I'm gonna tell you something. Before you got here, they took all the black Marines out of the unit because someone accused the CO of being racist or whatever. And so you're the first black person here since then. That's why you're here." You know what I mean? And that's why everyone's acting weird, is because they're afraid to say something, blah, 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 blah. And so, but the thing is, that was making me more uncomfortable.
Of course.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
how did you react to it, though?
So I started just bringing it up. Like, I just started talking about race all the time, you know, and I pulled, and then I got everybody together eventually, and I was like, "Look, y'all walking on eggshells because y'all scared that you might say something that it was going to upset me and blah, 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 blah." It's like, I'm sure some of y'all are racist. You don't know it, maybe. But me going to the other unit, because our sister unit was mostly black people in charge. But it's like, they still going to treat you like a nigga. Everyone's a nigga in the Marine Corps. So it don't matter if I go over there, I'm still going to be getting treated just like shit, but it's going to just be black people treating me like shit.
Right.
So I was like, you say whatever you want. Say whatever you want. But I'm going to say whatever the fuck I want. And it was a deal. And I started just saying whatever I wanted. And that's something you don't get to do in the Marine Corps.
No.
And so every now and then, I slowly learned that if I say it at the right moment, it would get a laugh. And I wouldn't get, because I was still getting kind of trouble, but not no official trouble.
Right.
So I just learned, and I started saying and it started with race, like joking about race, the most serious thing. Mm-hmm. And I just started slowly learning, like and where most people would have got in trouble, it would be like, "Oh, that's just Simpson."
Right. That dude's funny. He says crazy shit.
Yep. So it all came.
It's funny because it is like the development of a comedian, like the whole story, everything from childhood through the Marine to like all these little details. And like now I see like the pathway more clearly, and then you at the bar cracking the people. All that was building. Your whole story is building up to that moment of that guy being like, "Oh, you're making these people laugh. You want to do stand up?"
Yep.
You know the whole story.
Yeah, man. It's cool.
Well, I'm glad you're doing it, man, because you're so funny. We need you to weigh in on a really important thing. Which is
yeah, that was heavy.
Yeah.
That was heavy.
I'm so glad you shared that story, though.
That was.
You know what's really crazy listening to you, if I may make it about me for a moment?
Please.
The officer-friendly incident, that could have been, I mean, in the 80s, I was a latchkey. I spent the summer of 1984 alone in my dad's house. Like, I should have been, an adult should have been watching me I was probably your age when I was being left alone.
Yeah.
That could have been anybody in the 80s in a way, you know, the initial thing that starts you into that horrible cycle.
Yeah, you know what?
It's crazy.
I always felt worse for the kids that was stuck with their shitty families, because some families are like, some families are shitty and they're just good at hiding the abuse and all.
So true.
And those kids are stuck there.
That's true.
At least I got to go on an adventure, you know.
You did.
I got to be with all different kinds of families, and I learned about the human condition. Like all the foster care shit and the military shit, it was also an education in like people. Which I think you have to have that to really be a good stand-up, to understand how to communicate.
You got to understand how people work.
Yeah, you got to know how people work. And so, so I that's how I stopped feeling sorry for myself, because I realized in any kind of art, your damage or what you perceive as whatever makes you weird in art, that's a superpower.
Yes.
Because you have a perspective that other people can't have. It's shit that only I can say, you know, and be truthful. It's shit that only I can say. So like now I feel like empowered.
And you can actually get away with even wilder, more reckless, irresponsible speech because you've had such extreme experiences. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the more extreme circumstances, you know, the deeper the trauma that someone, that is permission to speak more freely.
Yeah, especially nowadays when you need permission to say certain shit.
Yeah.
And I know, and that's so interesting what you said, that you just started bringing up race all the time with people, and isn't that what solved the problem? Do you know what I mean? Like now,
it's like having a conversation about it.
Yeah, but now it's the complete opposite ethic, that you're not supposed to say anything because someone's going to get in trouble, and it's like, dude, that's not the way to solve stuff.
Yeah. I mean, just be able to say it. I mean, dude, listen, you're black.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know?
You're definitely
I wanted to
black,
say it
Brian.
since you sat down.
Well, you got a McDonald's, nigga?
So if you don't know, Brian's been on the show before.
Yes. McDonald's, nigga.
That's Brian. Thanks for doing that for us.
Oh, man, that was so funny.
I just walked up to him in the parking lot of the store, like, can you say something for me? He's like, sure, what? And he was like, oh, okay. Like, right away.
Yeah.
Didn't ask for an explanation.
That was so awesome.
So we've always played, you know, video clips, audio drops.
All right.
And every once in a while, there's something that we actually have a debate about what someone's saying. So the original big debate was this Robert Paul Champagne, whether he was saying home here now or not. I don't know if that's even, is that in my drops? It might not be, but is it?
Search for Try It Out. I think you'll find it.
Oh, right. Try it out. Well, let's see.
Come check it out. I mean, you fucked a lot, man.
Well, that's not complicated, but you get the idea.
I can't believe that dude's a real person.
I know. He's really real. But anyways, lately, the new debate is one line within this video. So I'm going to play you the whole video, and then I'll tell you where the debate is. It's going to be on this screen right here, okay?
All right.
Okay.
This public announcement goes out to all you bitch-ass niggas that motherfucker claim that I'm a false blood. Bitch, call me out and see if I'm a motherfucking false blood. You niggas don't work no wreck. Suwoo, bitch-ass nigga.
Okay. So he...
Is there something not clear about what he said?
Well,
Yes.
yeah, it's pretty clear, but it's actually down to a few words because there's a heavy debate going on about whether or not he is saying...
You niggas don't work no wreck.
You saying you niggas don't want no wreck?
What's that mean? You don't want no wreck?
Right.
Which means?
Which means you don't want the scuffle. You don't want it to come to blows.
Wreck, R-E-C.
You don't want no smoke. You don't want no drama.
No wreck.
Want no wreck, R-E-C.
So there's a...
No, I think...
W-R-E-C-K?
I don't think it's ever been spelled out. But
Right, you're right. W-R-E-C-K. Right. So there's a heavy debate going on, including with staff here, and whether or not he's saying want no rec, because work no rep was a big advocate. If you can close that right there, close what you have up go to the page, just close the actual choice. And scroll. Scroll to 101 in the middle down. Yep. Play him. For Brian.
So the Suwoo guy is 1,000% saying work, no rep. I'm from fucking East Orange, New Jersey, nigga. There's all bloods in that neighborhood, and I used to hear that shit all the time, my dude. The problem is, your boy's just got too many fucking holes in his mouth, so I don't think the words is coming out right, but I know that's what he was saying. It's a very common phrase amongst the blood community, at least where I'm from.
Work, no rec.
This is where the debate comes in, because people are saying that it's clearly work no rec like you, but then we got...
But what does that mean?
What, work no rep?
Work no rec?
No, work no rep, he's saying.
What is
he's
that?
saying rep.
I don't know.
Boy, I don't know what...
What?
Now page through that, where you were. So then you can see that people are writing, this guy says it means they aren't recognized for the blood that he is, calling him a false blood. Go ahead and page. Scroll. Suwoo guy saying warrant no rec, which is crazy to me.
Oh, God.
This guy says work no rec, which was your initial assumption.
No, I was saying want. No, y'all don't want no.
Okay, well, that the debate lies in some of the very few words here. This dude is saying work. This says work no rec. I almost dropped it.
Damn, this is something I did not need in my head.
I know.
Now I got to be thinking about
I
this.
know.
Is it you
niggas
don't want no wreck? I don't know. Now this guy says I'm white but been to jail. He says want no wreck.
Want no wreck. Now when I hear Brian say the phrase, because he can mimic it very well.
He didn't stop for a second. It was automatic.
Brian, say it again the way he does.
So you niggas don't want no wreck?
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
When Brian says it the same cadence.
You niggas don't work no wreck.
But see, now that you put it in my head, now I hear.
Do you want to hear it in slow motion? Okay. I don't know.
But now when it slowed down, I hear what? No, I hear want. But then I hear work when I hear it at regular speed.
Dude, can you get somebody to turn this into a trap beat?
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Oh, I
you just put the call out. Believe me.
Please.
You'll have samples to choose from next week.
Oh yeah, I want to.
You niggas don't work no wreck.
I don't know, man.
I think it's want. I think it's want no wreck. He's right.
Yeah, I think
you think it's want no wreck.
I think it's want no wreck.
It's like you don't want this shit, right?
Because look, I'm not trying to say that is the dude that says he lives around Bloods.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's full of shit.
Yeah.
But I've never heard that phrase.
Right.
You know, and so I don't know if that's true.
But you've heard the phrase "want no wreck." You've heard it.
I've heard that before.
You've heard "want no wreck."
Yeah, or yeah. I mean, I know what that means.
That dude said, did he say "work no rep"? Is that what he said it was, or "want no rep"?
I think he said work.
Go back to it. Yeah. What does he say?
Guy is 1,000% saying work no rep.
He's saying work no
rep. The complete opposite.
And we can't get a hold of this guy.
We've tried.
Oh,
he's busy doing blood shit. But there's, yeah.
He's not a false blood.
Nah.
Yeah.
Suwu.
Or maybe we could just.
Are you familiar with that expression too?
Oh yeah.
Suwu.
Suwu. I don't know exactly what it means.
No,
It's
hold on.
Swahili for blood, and then
okay.
they adapted it as like a battle cry for like let's do some shit right now.
Dude, that's the funniest tweet I ever saw.
Yeah.
And I feel bad that I don't remember who said it, but they were like can a Crip date an Asian girl named Suwu? And I was like, I don't think I'm ever going to see anything funnier than that.
That's funny as shit.
Yeah.
Is it Sue Whoop or Sue Woo?
Suwu.
Sue Woo.
Yeah. I never knew that it was Swahili for blood, though.
It is.
I didn't
Yeah, we
know
looked it
that.
up. I mean, it's the first thing. It's
We
Swahili.
know so much about the Bloods now.
Well, I'm working with a community activist, so yeah, no.
Suwu.
Yeah.
Sue Woo.
But anyways, now you heard Brian weigh in on it. The debate continues. Is it work no wreck?
I'm on the want no wreck team.
Okay.
I'm throwing my full weight behind it.
Okay.
Man, yeah, because when you repeat it, it sounds the same as how he's saying it.
It does, yeah. It does feel like, yeah. I don't know. It really would be great if we could hear back from this guy.
Oh yeah, you might one day. I mean, how does he not? How does he not know that he's famous on the internet?
Well, I went to his page and like he's posting random shit, like
It's
whatever.
coming.
I'm watching this show right now. Everyone's like, "You want that rep?" So, like they're all his comments. So he's gonna figure it out at some point.
Yeah.
He's gotta.
Because Robert Paul Champagne eventually was found.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
took 2 years or so.
Yeah.
And eventually we will know him.
It'd
He'll
be great.
in our
It'd be
world.
great if the listeners, if somebody knows like what city this dude's in, we could kind of go down that path. Of course, don't bother him.
No, please don't.
No.
Just
We don't want no rep.
Nope.
We don't want no wreck.
Not at all. Don't want anything. I just send him a bunch of cookies.
Man,
and
you
be
just
like,
know his breath smell like malt liquor. You just know it.
Oh, before we go, I wanted to ask you. So you've always been good about just spitting shit out of your head. So sometimes people send in questions, just like, I want advice. I was wondering if I could just read you some. And you just, first, there's no wrong, just whatever, first thing comes to your mind, just give an opinion.
All right, hit me.
All right, so this says, hey, Tom and Christina, I'm a huge fan, been listening for a long time, but I have a huge problem that I need help with. I'm a 35-year-old man. I'm deeply in love with my best friend. I can't bring myself to tell her because she's dating a close friend of mine for about 12 years now. Me and her are extremely close. We always do everything together, and my love for her has amplified massively over the past 2 years. It caused me to fall into a deep depression because I've never been in love before. I don't know what to do. What makes the situation even more complicated is the guy she's been dating this whole time I've known since I was in 10th grade. He is my other best friend's brother. His family and my family are super close as well. We celebrate birthdays together, holidays together. This makes everything much more difficult. I have to hide how I feel. Is there any advice you guys have it would be greatly appreciated. Love the show. Love you guys. Corey. That's pretty intense, dude. What would you do? What do you advise him?
Tell her.
Tell her?
Man, live in your truth, man. Just tell the truth. Deal with the consequence. Because anything you gotta pretend to get, you gotta stay pretending to keep.
Right.
And that's exhausting. Just tell her, let the chips fall where they may. Motherfuckers stop talking to you, fuck them. Let them.
I think Corey, you know what? Brian gives you great advice, Corey, because essentially Brian's advice to you is like, do you feel like wasting your time or not wasting your time?
Right.
Because you're either going to keep the pretend thing is just going to feel like you're wasting your time for however many years this continues.
Yeah.
This can get it out of the way.
Plus also, man, that whole lonely brings the worst out of you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you because you headed towards that Joker path. You gonna fuck around and try to poison somebody or you got that nasty shit brewing in you because you're lonely, and she might not even be into you. You need to find that out soon.
That's right.
Well,
it's the waste of time.
Let me tell you something. I go opposite. Don't say shit, but give up on this bitch. Here's why. Because she don't give a fuck about him. If you have to tell some bitch, I like you, it is not mutual. Because that shit, you know how you feel it with somebody?
Yeah.
Like, I think that, but she likes me. I know it. It's a done. If a man has to confess his love, it is not on.
But here's why I disagree with you.
Go ahead.
Because the penalty, the burden that he will carry if he doesn't say it, is that in life, he'll always wish he had said it. Years later, let's say you grow apart for whatever reason, it'll eat away at him that he was like, man, I wanted to tell her that I felt that way. It feels better. It actually feels better to let it out and have her be like, I'm not
But
into
you know
it.
he's going to explode all these relationships. His best friend's going to hate
It's worth
him.
it. It's worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
I disagree.
And then you know what? You learn to build a pipe bomb.
I say, give up on this girl. Shut the fuck up. Go find some other hoe. She's somebody else.
But what's the difference? I mean, because if he gives up on her and just goes away, what's the difference? I'm talking about the outcome wise. What's the difference between that and him telling her and then her being like no and him going away?
The difference is he gets to keep his best friend, his community of people.
No, the brother is his best friend. This dude's not his friend.
The brother, yeah, but I mean, basically he's going to put a grenade in his entire social life if he comes out with this big truth. And usually when you're obsessing about somebody who's not reciprocating, it's all on you.
Yeah.
You know, that's not about love. That's like, that person shouldn't even be an option to you. So the fact that he's so into somebody who's not giving back, you got to look at himself. It's not about her.
Oh, and I'm sure she's what really sucks is he probably knows that this dude don't really give a fuck about her. You know what I mean?
Right. He's like, some bitch.
I used to be that guy that was just like scared. That's just.
Yeah.
Now I'm completely like I'm just living in my truth, man. I'm just gonna shoot.
I think you got to do it. I think you take Brian's advice. You tell her, and you let whatever happen happens.
All right,
yeah.
guys. Well,
all right. Here's
blow
the
your
next
life
one.
up. Let us know how it goes.
Brian, here's what you think. This one says, "Hey, I'm a white trash cum dump looking for love
Yeah.
at what seems to be all the wrong places. I'm a her in my mid-20s, above average attractiveness. I love to fuck and I fuck good, and I'm considered a ball hog in my career. The total package. The men I meet have been like jeans that start high and tight but get low and loose after a few weeks. I'm starting to think finding a boyfriend is as rare as a double pipe classic. What's the secret to finding a love like yours? Piss on me and beat me. Hoe a man out. Emily from Atlanta."
Double pipe classic meaning
burp and fart at the same time.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah. Very rare.
That is very rare.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like in the same moment, not like then one the other. It's
right at the same moment.
Same moment.
Wow, I don't know if I've ever done that.
Oh, well,
that's how rare it is.
lifetime.
Yeah. I have a few written down. They're engraved in trophies. But
see, I don't believe this woman.
Tell me why.
Because it comes off too much like she's trying to convince me of what she is. Like she's not being honest with herself about what she is. Because she's like, I'm the total she's package. Like, I'm all these good things. I'm all the. It's just all good, and for some reason I can't find a boyfriend.
Oh.
It's like, nah, bitch, you just not being honest with yourself. You need to like really like get a friend that's willing to fucking, because she's probably gotten rid of every friend that tried to check her.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, be honest with yourself, or hire a professional that doesn't have to fucking be nice to you.
Right.
And like, be honest with yourself.
Be honest with yourself.
Yeah, you're not the total package, obviously.
I like that because I think what's
I like that
happening.
too.
You're right. It's like, ever meet someone who's like, everyone has broken up with me. All my friends have gone away, and every job I get fired from. Everyone's an asshole. It's like, I think maybe you're an asshole.
Yeah, the common denominator.
Anytime someone is telling me a story where they are both the hero and the victim, they're always full of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, you can't be both of those in the same story.
That's true. Yeah. So maybe, I don't want to piss on her parade, but maybe it is about like doing a real evaluation with Emily, right?
Yeah.
Like, what's really going on? Are you being honest about what you're bringing to the table?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe.
What kind of guys are you going after they're all fuck ups like this?
And a lot of times these girls have that princess shit going where nobody's as good as daddy or nobody's up to my high standards. And that's also a way of keeping intimacy away.
Or she's just aggravating.
Yeah.
I would love to hear her voice. Because sometimes it's just that. It's just like, she talks like that.
Was it my voice that reminded you of that?
No. Your voice is just right on the cusp.
Yeah, a big.
It's right on the cusp.
How dare you?
It's almost annoying.
Right. Like she can turn it up a notch and get annoying if she wanted to.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, I know.
Yeah.
So
thanks, guys.
That's good advice, actually. This one is really important. This one is called "My Girlfriend Won't Eat My Scrum."
Oh wow! What is scrum?
It's basically like a nice way of saying your ass.
Okay.
So it says, "Hey, I need some relationship advice. I've been seduced by the scrum, and I'm currently trying to get my girlfriend to tongue my beehole. However, she refuses on the grounds that as a follower of Islam, she is unable to eat pork because pigs are unclean animals due to their tendency to live in and around their own shit. This would make her the same, if not worse, than the oinkers in the eyes of Allah. As a white, cisgendered atheist who respects her beliefs but really needs her to lick around the brown, what should I do? Keep it high and tight. Sincerely, Richard." Wow, what a unique relationship.
Are y'all fucking with me? Are these real people?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of this is written in the language of our show.
Yeah, they're writing
the references.
The language, like the lexicon they choose to dive into is like show jokes.
Is there a glossary?
Yeah, there is. There's
somebody's
a couple
building it, right?
No, that's already out there.
Oh.
Because when I went to Vegas with you, people would like yell shit at you.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. Like he had to explain to me like, what is bikes?
Yeah.
What is...
Yeah.
Okay. So
he's basically, let me translate. He's saying I'm dating a Muslim girl who won't eat my ass, and I just want her to. What should I do?
But he's not willing to stop eating bacon.
I don't know that it's so much that as much as
that it's unclean.
Yeah, he's calling his ass the pork. I think she's just basically like, that's not going to happen. He's like, it needs to happen.
Because do Muslims have some kind of like blessing or oil that like what if say pork accidentally gets on something?
Right.
Oh, right.
Do they have that like a spray?
Like a magic eraser?
Right.
Yeah, like a Allah mist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That they can put on his asshole maybe?
That's a good question.
Oh, that's a really good idea.
Maybe this dude should just he should be so well versed in the practices of Islam that whatever she throws at him, he's like, what about the blanket of truth?
right. Yeah. Or maybe like some incense smoke that they can blow up there or something that can just make it okay.
Ooh, that's a good idea. Like to make it a holy thing.
Yeah.
Like
He just needs to know Islam in and out.
Be like, for Ramadan, this is how we're going to break the fast.
That's right. You're going to fast all day.
Yeah, you need to study the Quran. I'm sure there's a contingency in there in case you accidentally get some bacon in your mouth or something.
Sure, for sure. And there's no way none of these Muslim dudes are getting their ass eaten. Like none of them?
Right. Come on. Yeah, a lot of them are.
That's a good point.
Yeah. I bet you could find that in some porn. Some Muslim ass eating.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just pull that up on
it's
a search.
Very respectful ass eating.
Yeah. There's a call to the ass eating first. Right? Like the 5-minute chant.
But also, Islam means submission.
Oh.
Really? That's what it translates to?
Yeah. It's like, do what I fucking tell you.
Do what I tell
Because if he marries her, she has to do whatever he says.
Maybe.
Though,
what if
that's
he could get a
right.
little thing going where he's like, all right, I'll convert, but you're gonna eat my ass. Like that's a
Oh,
nice
yeah.
trade-off.
But what if Muslims don't eat ass? Period.
They do.
I
Come
doubt
on.
that.
There's fucking
There's
a couple
no
billion of
way
them.
they
Some of them.
don't. What about Catholics? Are we allowed to eat ass?
Somebody eats ass. I know Muslims that eat pork.
You do?
Oh.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I know Muslims that they they just like it's like every other religion.
Yeah.
There's people that's orthodox, it's like about their life, and then there's people that just say they are.
Yeah, yeah.
So they but
They're
she's-
like they're culturally.
Yeah, she's about their life. Who's turning down scrum?
I know.
Are you about that life? Are you a scrum eater?
I mean, I'm not like I'm not seeking it, but if I was in the situation, if that was the barrier to entry, then I'm in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna stop at the scrum. No.
I won't eat Tom's scrum.
No?
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, but it can't be no shitty smell because smells for me are really powerful.
Oh yeah.
Well,
If I smell the slightest hint of shit, I'm out of there.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so and I'll get you whatever damn.
I've cleaned
douche.
up, but she don't want no wreck. So so this is the last one. Your advice is very welcome on Brian. It says, "Hello, I need some advice for my situation. I'm really into one of my friends at school and college. I want to make a move, but here's the tricky part. We both want to go to university next fall, and we agreed that if possible, we'll go to the same school and room together. I want to ask her out, but I'm worried that she'll either reject me and possibly ruin our friendship, or say yes and we'll get sick of each other from a relationship and roommates as classmates. So am I overthinking it? I just need to go full throttle, or do I need to keep my dirty slut mouth shut and save the friendship and my uni buddy, Ron?" So you see what he's saying? So he's saying that I think he has a friend in, let's say, high school, and they're like, all right, it's a guy and a girl. We're both going to go to the same university next year.
Is this the guy or the girl?
This is the guy asking.
Okay.
And he's like, look, they have an agreement that they're going to go to the same university and room together. But now he's saying he's got a crush,
bad idea.
basically. I mean, I don't know what you think. I think
I wouldn't room with a dude.
No,
It's
my nigga.
nasty.
No, don't
yeah.
do this. No, because look, and this happened to me. The same warrant officer. They pulled me to the side and told me what was up.
Yeah.
He's the same one when I first got there. He was like, you got a girlfriend? I was like, yeah. He was like, she from back home? I was like, yeah. He was like, you think about getting married? I was like, yes, sir. He was like, no, you're not.
Really? Right off
He
the
said,
gate?
don't fucking do it. Don't fucking do it. He said, I could order you to stay away from her,
Damn.
but I'm not going to do that. But I'm just trying to give you some good advice. If the Marine Corps wanted you to have a wife, it would have issued you one.
Damn.
And he was fucking right. Everybody I know that was married, that got married to that first girl from home, they divorced now, except one. Only one couple is still together.
Yep.
Everybody else is divorced. And it was miserable. And now me and that girl are good friends, but we would have been an awful couple.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like you can't. Cause I don't know if this is the first girl to touch your penis or the first titties you
They're
ever
not.
saw.
They're just friends.
They're not together
They're
yet.
not even- they've never.
No,
he
bro.
wants to tell her he loves her.
Bro, you're gonna go to. Don't do that. You go to college first.
Yeah.
Don't be roommates.
You know what you should do? He should go there, be fine with like keeping the friendship, meet other girls.
Yes.
She dates other guys.
Yes.
You go through the whole thing, and then at the end of college, you're like, we both tested the waters, and you see if there's feelings there then.
100%.
See, some of you niggas is losers. Like you look.
Can I put that on a shirt?
Yeah, because listen to me. All of the guys is like the youngins that's out here like that want the same answer. It's like just be a girl's friend. Just try that first. Just like every girl you have any kind of tingly feeling for is not your girlfriend, is not your wife, is not a potential relationship. Just be nice to her and be her friend, and you'll get. She will help you get pussy. She will help you find that other person. But why can't you? It's like some guys had this attitude of like either we're completely platonic or we're fucking totally in love, and there's nothing in between.
But there is.
There's a lot of in between. Some girls, you're just there for emotional support, or you're just there to be there. You know, you're her work husband, where she just flirts with you at work. Whatever, she just like the attention that you give her, but she don't want to fuck you. You know, she's never gonna fuck you. She's not in love with you, but she likes that. It doesn't have to be more than that. Like, just be her friend.
I agree.
Let it go. If you're gonna go be roommate, just be her friend. Don't go there with no expectations that y'all gonna be together or you in love. You don't know if you in love. You fucking 18, 17. You ain't in love. That ain't real.
This is primo advice.
Primo. And also, don't live with the opposite sex. It's disgusting. I've had male roommates when it's like 4 or 5 girls and one guy. It's nasty as hell. How's he going to beat his meat at night? He's going to take nasty shits. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you don't even live with a woman.
Don't do that. You setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah.
You about to start your whole
College, you need to
your
hook
whole college
up,
life,
bro.
yeah, man. You
Hook up.
Don't do that.
No, don't be chained to one broad. You don't want it.
No.
That's what's up, nigga.
Oh my gosh, with the N words today.
Where is that him?
No,
No.
that's Annie that works here.
Oh wow.
Nope.
That's great advice, dude. You're a natural at
Yeah.
advice.
Thanks.
Yeah, you give great advice.
That was a guttural N-word.
Oh, he gave different reads.
When it comes from down that deep.
Yeah. He did loose. He did like fun ones.
Oh wow. Because I know you don't have. I know you don't have unlimited buttons over there. So how many are dedicated
to N-words?
Yeah,
like 40.
You have a whole nigga folder over there.
Yeah. And after you leave, we're gonna have about 30 more.
Oh shit! Y'all are something else,
man. This is I loved having you here today.
Yes,
this is you're
thank
a
you.
natural fit here.
No, this is great.
Come back again.
Yeah,
of course.
Tell everybody where they can. First of all, I'll tell you this because I've seen you live. Obviously, worked with you on the road. You need. I tweeted it out. I put it on my Instagram stories. Your David Spade set is phenomenal TV set. But where can people follow you, keep up with you?
I'm at BS Comedian on Instagram, and my podcast is BS with Brian Simpson.
BS with Brian
What's that about?
It's just me talking about whatever I want. It's not particularly funny. It's just this. It's me just having my opinion about shit.
That's great.
Yeah, and I do I introduce new indie artists and shit at the end sometimes.
Oh,
that's cool,
neat.
man.
Yeah, a little Black history sometimes.
You're a real talent, dude. I'm very proud of what you're accomplishing. So
Thanks,
keep at
keep
it,
going,
man.
bro.
Keep going, going.
Yeah.
Follow Brian, listen to his podcast, and hopefully we get to see you soon, man.
Word.
Hi, babe, on this great Saturday. I've been looking at your pictures so long, babe, and they magnify my eyes, babe. I turn into a telescope when I see your page. You feel so good to me, babe, that when I meet you and you talk to me, I want you to melt me like hot chocolate candy do. And not with hot breath, but with cool. I love you, babe. You melt me every day. I'm connected with your soul through your asshole. I'm connected with your soul through your asshole. Turn it to a telescope, 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 turn it to a telescope.
I like to drink wine, I like to try to have some wine, because I do. I'll be dead ass with everybody that's, watching this live video. I love to get girls drunk and take advantage of them.
Hi, thank you for watching that episode of Your Mom's House. I really appreciate it. If you want to see more, you can click on any of these videos in this general area. And also, if you haven't subscribed, please do. It helps feed our cats. You don't have any cats?